the 27th of February, 2025, folks. Man, oh man, it's been a very, very, very active day in the news. We had the prime minister from the UK come over and hold a press conference with Trump, flattering the hell out of him. But more importantly, guys, we got a couple of things, a couple of topics that we're going to discuss tonight. And the first one being the blocking of the mass firing, the U.S. aid funds being actually held. The judge put an order. The Supreme Court Justice, Chief Justice Roberts, actually put a hold on the United States having to pay that out. And we also have the transgenders being removed from the military. So there's a lot to talk about today, folks. So, hey, if you're here, if you're not here, first and foremost, join us. Download that Chatter Social app. That Chatter Social app will allow you to join us live. So if you're listening to us either on Spotify, iTunes, Apple, iHeart, TuneIn, Overcast, Pandora, wherever, come join us live for this live discussion. Got a lot to talk about today, folks. Hey, hit the link up top as well. Hit the link up top, folks, and let us know that you have that podcast. Download that, folks. Let's start to debate the news. Let's get it going, folks. All righty there, folks. Welcome to Debate the News. Hopefully, can you guys hear me?
You sound great, Shelby.
Loud and clear.
Absolutely.
Okay, good, great. Hey guys, man, oh man, I'm excited to be here, man. So here's the deal: a lot of things are happening, but we got our hitters here tonight. I don't have to do much talking to set the stage, so I'm gonna go to our hitters that we have. Man, oh man, I'm gonna go to our hitters. So first and foremost, what we always do is we do a dateline. We sort of try to have a right leaning one and a left leaning one, and then we have our business one as well. So we're going to start off with our business one, and that will be the beautiful Daphyne Christine. So Daphyne Christine, you want to come up here and join us and give the business dateline?
And again, not quite ready. I can't get it switched
Okay,
over between phones.
I tell you what, we'll come back. We're going to start off with Skull. Skull, are you here, my friend?
I'm here and ready to go.
You're ready to go, huh, Skull? Skull, when are you not ready to go, guys? This guy right here, Skull, has been like top notch since we met him and brought him on. Skull's been like connected us with all kinds of stuff, man. This guy right here is incredible, man. So he's gonna be a superstar for us. I mean, I'm excited to have him. Very excited to have him. Very knowledgeable. Brings a lot of smoke. But one thing I appreciate him for is he's like myself. He likes the truth. He likes for things to be truthful, and he likes to correct. The other night, I made a mistake, and he called me out right there on the stage. He did not let me bury myself. He's like, "No, no, 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 that's not correct." And I appreciate that more than anything because I read so much that day, and I got something wrong about the number of people that actually voted against the resolution, called it out. And that's what you want from a good co-host, man. So, Skull, with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to you. Jump up here, Skull. Let's do your dateline up here. Jump up here, my friend.
I appreciate it. I will jump up here in just a second. I've got my other computer here. I got to read from this. I still got to get studio mode set up. I'll have it set up tomorrow.
Okay,
And
let's
then I'll
go.
jump up on camera right after this. And I appreciate it, Jonathan. And I appreciate being here with Debate the News. I'm glad I found you guys.
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and get into this. What has happened in the last 24 hours? Roberts issues an emergency stay. That was an emergency stay on basically having to disperse the U.S. aid funds. So the funds remain frozen. Answers are due, however, to the Supreme Court by Friday from all parties involved in this, which would assumably be the President of the United States. Up next, we have Trump slashes 90% of foreign aid contracts, which is a $60 billion cut, right? This is all related and sort of still tied in some ways to the U.S. aid funding. Some of these are separate from U.S. aid. Trump claims 65% EPA staff cuts. This would be 65% to the Environmental Protection Agency. However, the White House has now insisted that this is spending, not layoffs, and they have not laid off any staff. So we'll see As the truth develops on that situation, we'll see what happens. Federal agencies must submit plans to eliminate positions by March 13th. This would be an RIF, reduction in force plan. This is going to be across all federal agencies, folks. Staffing order bans government employees. One day after Majority Taylor Greene said that federal employees don't deserve pay. So the staffing order just was basically an order that says that government employees in there are lazy, they're not doing their jobs, so there are incredibly hardworking government employees out there. There are many hardworking government employees out there, and if they weren't, you wouldn't be getting some essential services that you have in your daily lives. Up next, agencies must submit proposals to relocate from Washington, D.C. to cheaper areas by April. This is a wild one, folks, right? So we have most of our federal government centralized in the District of Columbia. They're asking to move them to all kinds of states all over the place. This will act as a reduction in force. So this will act as a reduction in force, and this would actually end up decreasing the number of people there because they would have to move to far out of the way states like Alabama or Missouri or gosh knows where. We saw some of these orders come down under first term Trump, and sure enough, they did impact federal hiring. But it looks like they're trying to do it to every agency now. Trump orders a 30-day freeze on agency credit cards. There are a few exceptions on that. Kennedy, this is RFK, canceled the CDC conference to plan next season's flu vaccines. And if you don't know, we have a bird flu that's going around. It's brutal. There was a USDA report. We've already killed 28 million chickens. 28 million chickens have already been killed to try to prevent the spread of this thing, and it's still going, folks. It's also spread to rats, humans, cows. So pretty concerning that he's just canceling the biggest plan to combat this flu that's already devastating our livestock and can spread to humans. Lastly, Kennedy downplayed the measles outbreak in the Southwest, even though there is now, unfortunately, one child that has passed away.
You
So I'm
know,
going to just go ahead and leave that there, folks. Just a little bit of market news. We did have a little bit of a sell-off going into the end of the day here. Actually, it was a bit of a
it's a
pronounced
bit
sell-off going into the end of the day, and
huge.
it was pretty brutal.
It was huge, not a
So
bit. A big
yeah,
is a chunk, not a bit.
yeah. So that was pretty rough, and I'll leave the rest of that for the economic update. Thank you very much, John.
No problem. Before you go, though, you mentioned the flu. Guys, it's the worst flu season we've had in 15 years. So to have that conference canceled, that's just, I think it's crazy. And I normally don't do this. Dr. Captain, are you here? All right. So Dr. Captain's not available. Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, here. I'm
The
here. I'm here, Jonathan Bing. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can. Talk to us about this flu vaccine because from what I'm reading, it's the worst that we've had in 15 years. And with RFK canceling that conference for next year's flu season, what effect, if any, the CDC's next year flu season, getting them ready for the flu season next year, what effect, if any, would that have? And I want to speak to you because earlier today I spoke with Skull and he said 25 hospitals in Alabama was that 15? I mean, how many hospitals in Alabama will be shut down if the cuts go through for Medicaid?
Okay, so one thing at a
So
time. Number one,
One second, one second. One second.
let's differentiate bird flu from
Yes,
influenza flu.
yes.
So influenza virus is every year we have been offered flu shots. The flu shots help people from getting serious complications of the flu. This year we didn't have a lot of people taking the flu vaccine, and unfortunately we're back to several tens of thousands of deaths of influenza, including probably 50 or 60 children that have been reported to have died from influenza. So, getting the flu vaccine is helpful. And from year to year, you have health authorities sitting around and talking about the shift, meaning how does this flu change from year to year, and how can we put together a vaccine that will protect us from the next flu season? And there's a science to that. There's people sitting around deciding how to create this vaccine. And from year to year, that vaccine is anywhere from 30 to 70% effective. So it's not effective like the measles vaccine, which one measles vaccine gives you 93% immune protection. Two measles vaccines gives you 97 plus percent immune protection. Remember, nothing is 100%. So I understand when people are hesitant to not get a flu vaccine because they're like, well, if it's only 50% helpful, and when I get the flu vaccine, I get a little sick afterwards. So what's the point? Well, the point is if we can prevent infectious diseases that kill people, that's harm reduction. And in public health, we try to reduce harm. So, avian flu, which is bird flu, you really have to be messing with poultry and birds and being on a farm to actually get the bird flu, because that's basically transmitted from animals or birds to human beings. We don't yet have a documented case of human to human transmission of bird flu. And that's important. Okay. So, yes, there are some random cases of bird flu, but that's usually people that are farm workers or they're eating unpasteurized eggs or milk. And those are fluky things. That's different than influenza.
Gotcha.
Dr. Catherine, since we have you, I just want to ask a question. I heard a headline about, and I might have the area wrong, perhaps it was the Congo, but I believe three people had died. At least two, I think, were children, and it was from eating a contaminated bat. Have you heard anything about that? And I think that it has spread more. It's in a village. I see your face, Jonathan, but in a village, right? And so probably very different than how we live here in the modern world. Do you know anything about it, Dr. Catherine?
No, but public service announcements, don't get near bats. If you do get near a bat,
Or
you can
sleep in a room with the
actually,
bat?
yeah, even if you think you've been bit by a bat or near a bat, we'll actually, if you go to the ER, we'll give you the rabies vaccination series. Eating bats is absolutely not recommended.
Yeah, and I made that little joke there just for those of you who are like, "What's wrong with Taff?" The CDC actually puts that in some of their PSA information for people that are in the wilderness and things like that, because the bat apparently the bites can be so tiny, is my understanding, that you might not even recognize or realize that you had been bitten. Is that right, Dr.
Wow.
Kath?
Yeah, that's right, which is why sometimes you don't know you have a bite. And so the guidelines will say if you've been near a bat, we will actually give you a vaccine for passive immune globulin and vaccinate you for subsequent exposures. So uh, that's a really expensive vaccine that we keep in ERs because we don't want anyone to have, again, an infectious disease that's preventable that has nasty complications.
Wow. All right. So anyway, I want to go to back to Skull before we go to Storm. Skull, earlier today, like I said, you shared with us in our Telegram um, some a meme, some stats. Can you share those stats with Dr. Catherine right now and about Medicaid funding being cut and how it will affect the state of Alabama? Can you? Is that possible? Skull going twice. All right, so Skull guys earlier today, I should say, shared something in our and I'll see if I can find it really quickly in our Telegram, Dr. Catherine. I definitely want you to comment on it. But
So the gist of it is that we're going to be seeing significant cuts in Medicaid. Medicaid
Mhm.
is the part of the government that covers those who live at or under poverty levels, families, and just for reference, several tens of millions of
Yeah,
people
so
depend on
I have it,
Medicaid.
Dr. Catherine. Dr.
Okay,
Catherine, I have it.
go ahead.
So this is 25 hospitals are at risk of closing in Alabama if Medicaid cuts go through. Over 15 will likely close immediately. 88% of rural Alabama hospitals rely on federal funding. Um, that's pretty much what it's saying. The rest is a little political. I don't want to get into that right now because I just want to speak facts. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so a lot of hospitals, especially in rural communities, Medicaid is a significant payer, meaning that they're the insurance program for many people who live at or under poverty levels. So, about 40% of children who are born in the United States are born on getting Medicaid services. So, these are significant cuts that we're seeing, especially in red states, rolling back the Medicaid expansion program, which helped tens of millions of Americans get healthcare coverage. So, what we are worried about is that when we cut Medicaid, we're going to have a lot of people who are uninsured. And so, doctors and hospitals won't be getting paid. So, we expect that hospitals will have to close because they won't be able to uh, get compensated or pay their employees. So in rural communities, hospitals are usually the number one employers of an area. So if the hospitals are closing, we're going to see further job cuts. And then we're going to see, unfortunately, people having significant adverse health outcomes because they're not getting preventive services. They're not able to afford basic health care. And certainly, pregnant women, babies, children, Medicaid is there to protect people who can't afford to get health insurance otherwise. And we already have significant access issues. Even if you have Medicaid, there are a lot of doctors who don't accept Medicaid because the reimbursements are so poor. So, a lot of academic hospitals, a lot of community hospitals do this work sort of as a charity extension of their operations.
All right, good stuff there. Because I do want to come back to you about, because you said something in a room about having a, basically, something small can turn into something big. That something that they could take care of for a few dollars could turn into a $100,000 plus bill. I want to come back to that, but first, before I do that, I want to go to Storm. Storm, my friend, how are you doing?
Doing amazing, Jonathan. And I've got the top three stories for the Dateline for February 27th, 2025. Interestingly enough, they found Gene Hackman and his wife, along with two German shepherds, passed away in the home, and they were suspected of a gas leak, which no foul play was indicated. And they're having to get answers, and the family is confused, and there's a lot of speculation going around exactly how that happened. So, more to come on that. We also do have a big, starting to get some steam and traction. Right now, the FBI is looking into Comey's off the books honeypot operation targeting the 2016 Trump campaign. So they just announced that a whistleblower said two female FBI undercover employees infiltrated Mr. Trump's 2016 campaign at high levels and were directed to act as honeypots, quote, while traveling with Mr. Trump and his campaign staff. So the Times have learned that the Bureau, now led by Cash Patel and I can't speak. Deputy Director Dan Bongino is looking for these once undercover employees under Mr. Comey's direction. And finally, on the third story, yes, the Epstein list has been released on the first 90 names. They find it pretty underwhelming. They're also possibly speculating that there are other thousands of pages of documents that the Southern District of New York is not releasing to the FBI and not cooperating. So, more to come on that. Phase one was released today. They're looking at finding everything, and now there are speculations that actually a lot of those files have been erased and can never be found. So, more to come on that. We're looking for phase two. That's our dateline for February 27th.
Listen, do you think that gas leak? Do you? They know that they reported that there was no foul play storm, but do you think that there might have been something behind it with the family, or more
No,
to it? I should say.
actually, they're saying it's suspicious now,
Oh,
and they're calling
see?
it suspicious. Yeah,
Yeah, I believe there
absolutely.
were some pills found as well.
Yeah, they're calling it suspicious, and so they're trying to figure it out. They believe, well, we'll find more out about that. So anyway, guys, let's get to it, man. Oh man, so uh, first and foremost, Storm, do you know what a honeypot is?
What's a honeypot, Jonathan?
I'm just because you're saying that there's a honeypot operation that the FBI put a honeypot operation in place to infiltrate Trump's campaign. Do you know what a honeypot operation is?
That's
Sounds
what the
pretty sweet for the
Washington Times.
FBI.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, I was just saying, I apologize. It sounds pretty sweet for the FBI. What do you think it is, Storm?
No, no, he's just saying the Washington Times, right?
Yeah, the Washington Times. There were three other sources as well that reported.
Okay, guys, for you guys that don't know what you guys know what a honeypot is, right? You guys that don't know what a honeypot is when you put a woman in it to have sex with men to get to extract information or gain leverage. All right, and our
I think I was
FBI,
8 years old too. Wait,
yeah,
what?
yeah. So you know,
I didn't know either.
yeah. So
I'm
I'm
sweating a little.
laughing. Yeah, yeah. Come on, you guys. Come
Don't
on.
get Louise confused,
I'm
Jonathan. Come on, man. He looks
blushing.
really confused.
No,
This is
wait
not
a
what I
minute.
thought you were going to say, sir.
Anyone else knows what a honey pot is? Anyone else?
Uh,
Can
a
anyone confirm that?
honey a honeypot is also a way to get people gotten in a scam. That's also
No,
a reference to a honeypot. I'm just letting you know
no,
that that
no,
term has many different meanings, but that new one that you just put us on to was something different.
no, 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 no. Am I here by myself? Because
Mm.
no one watches espionage. Everyone doesn't know anything about espionage. No one.
No,
I'm not allowed to stay
no.
up late enough for those
Wow,
movies.
wow, guys. Can someone Google honeypot real quick? Can
No,
someone Google?
you're right. That's exactly, they send women to get information. You're
Thank,
absolutely right.
thank you. I know what a honeypot is. Okay,
I
so
just know. I hadn't been familiar with the term.
no, guys, listen to the people in podcast land. I don't want you to think that our audience is uninformed. Okay, that's
We
what
are
it
here to
is.
speak truth.
All right.
It's a person who is attractive, a source of money, or a trap to catch them criminal.
There
So
you
yeah.
go.
Hey.
There it is. That's what they call it, a honeypot.
We used
Okay.
to call that a decoy.
No, that's not a decoy. It's a honeypot, and the Russians are famous for using that. And that's why when he said the Washington Times, I sort of laughed, okay, because that's what they quote unquote got Trump with honeypot. That's why they quote unquote believe that Trump is under their control because they were able to film the PP episodes that which they're claiming. Oh, I don't know, but that's allegedly. I don't know, but that's what a honeypot is, guys. So when you're saying that the FBI did a honeypot operation, I find it highly unlikely. So, guys, thank me later, okay? Anyone in the chat? Let's see here. Anyone in the chat? Okay,
I got another definition for you.
okay, go ahead.
In cybersecurity, a honeypot is a security mechanism designed to lure cyber attackers by simulating a vulnerable system, network, or application. It helps detect and analyze threats by tricking hackers into engaging into a fake target while real systems remain unprotected.
Same
Yep,
thing.
it's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. You're doing it with a woman. That's that honeypots. Honeypots, they were infamous, with the Soviets in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I mean, that's what you get a man. You put an attractive woman on with the man. The man compromises himself, and next thing you know, they got him with a honeypot. That's what they call it. So, just I want to move on. But that's why when Storm
And welcome
read
to
that
Debate the News.
was that
And welcome to Debate the News.
yeah. Saying I was just shaking my head. I was like, "Come on, bro." But with that being said, guys, today, the judge in Northern California, pretty much stayed and actually rescinded Trump's order to fire probationary workers, employees. He says likely illegal. All right, and that lawsuit was filed by unions and others because of the fact that they just pretty much arbitrarily just fired over 200,000 people. So with that being said, those people are getting their job back, and they're halting the firing. This happened mid-February, just 2 weeks ago or so, and it's a result of a direct order from Doge and everything else. So with that being said, folks, how do you guys feel about that? Because when I look at it, I'm personally I'm thrilled. I was speaking early today about a woman that lost her job. She voted for Trump. She voted for Trump. She's a park ranger in Michigan, and she's making like 60, 70,000 dollars a year. She was trying to get pregnant through IVF, and her health care and everything was there. So she voted because her mother was a heavy Trumper and her uncle was a heavy Trumper. She came from a very not so well off family, but she went to college and got a degree, and she was working. And so her union notified her days before saying, hey, you know what? You may get fired because they're speaking about laying off probationary workers. And so a few days later, she received a text message and she was fired. She was terminated. And so she was devastated because she voted for Trump. And she said the first thing that went back to her mind, she said it couldn't help but going back there, was when she was inside the box, filling in the little circle to vote for Trump. And so she said that's the first thing she thought about. And so what happened there was then she's like, well, maybe he'll come through with the IVF because it was supposed to be free because he said he's gonna make it free. But that didn't happen as well. He reduced the price, but not low enough where she could afford it. So pretty much her dreams of having a kid. They just bought a new house, $125,000 house. I know it doesn't sound like a lot for a house, but I guess up there in Michigan, that's a lot. I mean, it's a decent whatever. Um, but now she's without a job and she can't do the IVF treatments because she can't afford them. But she's a Trump voter, so a lot of people have lost their jobs and because of this, that voted for Trump. So how do you guys feel about this? Because I didn't feel any, and I have to admit, I didn't feel any pity or sympathy for her. I didn't feel any. I didn't feel bad for her at all hearing her story because I think she voted for this. Any thoughts on that, guys?
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't feel bad for her. That's exactly what she voted for. She voted for it, and unfortunately, she's just a casualty of war, right? But I just want to throw something at you real quick because you said all of those people will be getting their jobs back. I just read up on it, several checked, and you could double check as well. But it does the judge, nothing of what the judge has said or done guarantees that those people will be getting their jobs back. What it is doing is it is putting a pause to any and all firings that are happening. But anybody who's already been fired, nothing of this guarantees that they'll be giving their job back. Just wanted to clear that up.
No, absolutely. It says rescinding. It rescinds the word rescind, and I'll pull that up and I'll put it in chat. Okay, rescinding that. But once again, um,
Well, when you brought this
unfor-
up, Jonathan, if I may, you know what it made me think of is pre-show. We were hanging out in the DTN lounge, if you will, and in the pre-show, someone I just heard the tail end, and I thought this is what you were going to tell us about. Um, someone said that maybe it was a senator, a congresswoman, had her husband deported. What did I catch there? Can someone fill me in?
Yes, I do believe that was Miss Diana that was filling us in. I don't have the details, but if Diana's here, we can get it. Or yeah, that was Diana giving us the fill in on that. Her and Sean.
Diana, are you here with us? Thanks, Marty.
yeah. While you waiting for Diana, I just want to
Hey
correct
guys,
Marty.
yeah, that was our
Oh, that
councilwoman
was her. Diana, your mic is.
Your mic is
She's from the
horrible.
Coachella,
Woo!
California
Yeah.
area.
Hey,
And
Diana, your Dollar
she
Tree mic
wasn't the
isn't
one that
working.
got her husband deported,
Diana,
but
you're in a
that's what
hole
the fact was.
at the bottom of a
Diana,
cup.
On February
Get out of
24th,
the
All right,
she
just
elevator.
Diana,
mute her out. Mute her out,
can somebody
guys.
mute
Just
her out,
mute her out.
please? Yeah, Diana, your mic is horrible. I don't know if you have a Bluetooth or what's going on. If you want to try it again, try it again. We didn't hear anything. It sounded like you're in a deep hole. Do you want to try again without the Bluetooth or whatever was going on? But while we're waiting for Diana, Marty, U.S. Judge William Alsop said he will issue a temporary restraining order that will block Friday's scheduled firing of several thousand Defense Department workers. The order apparently will also reinstate many of those that have been dismissed in the last 2 weeks under Trump's orders from President Trump's Office of Personal Management. All right, just want to put that out there.
No, 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 for sure, for absolutely. And I just want to say, there's that right there is definitely mistaken on many different, very credible sources. There's nowhere I just read said that, but no, I'm not going to argue with it. Absolutely.
No problem. No. Just no. That's where we at. Listen to me, folks. I've been reading a lot of. I've been seeing a lot of different posts and about people losing their jobs, and they're like, "Mr. President, we voted for you." Oh, here's the thing. Her family apparently, when the firing started, her uncle tweeted out or posted somewhere like, "Hey, any government employee that's complaining about losing their job, they're criminals. Anyone that loses their job, they're a criminal. They deserve it. They've been robbing us for years." And then she lost her job, and so you know,
She a damn criminal.
yeah. So yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's like a lot of people felt like they were going to be immune from this. So here it is, folks. The floor is open. I mean, if you guys want to jump in and get involved in this, anyone wants to comment on this, I personally, am I a bad person for not feeling bad? Am I a bad person for somewhat cheering this on? You know, I'm sorry because a lot of these people that voted.
Yes.
Uh, Go ahead. Who said yes? Go ahead. A lot of these people that voted for Trump, they're being terminated and they're crying and they're like, Mr. President, but I voted for you. People just believe that it wasn't meant for them. So does that make me a bad person? And does
Somebody
that
said
make the
yes.
yeah, but does that make the thousands of people that come in and comment under these posts and these tweets, like they really don't care? Like, oh man, I'm going to Starbucks. Oh, guess what I'm having for dinner? Just like, oh, life goes on. They pretty much. I mean, are we? I mean, should we be sensitive to that? Mic's open. Anyone wants to jump in? Please jump in.
Well, you would be sensitive to it, not for like altruistic reasons, but just because, you know, it can happen to you. Bad things can happen to you. It's never a good idea to wallow in other people's misery, and that's part of what lost you guys the election this last time. You said if you don't take this vaccine, you're gonna go in a camp. We don't care. You're just idiots. All these Trump people are just morons. They don't understand, et cetera, et cetera. You had no empathy, and then people said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna vote for this crazy person, just to piss you off." And I mean, I think that's pretty. People pretty much agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's dumb as hell. What you just said. It's not about empathy. People made choices, they made decisions, and those decisions. Okay, this is the fruit from the tree that they planted. So this is what they said they wanted. So don't when you're saying no, it won't happen to me. I'm an entrepreneur. All right, that's the first thing
Yeah,
about
but
me.
you
So
lack self-awareness, and
I'm very self-aware. I'm very self-aware. That's why I'm aware that they're
oh,
getting fired. That's why I'm aware that they're being terminated. That's why I'm aware that they're complaining. That's why I know that they're crying. That's why I know that they can't pay for the house. They can't close on their house that they're in the process of closing on because they no longer have a job. I'm very aware. Okay, so
but
when you talk about
that's not self-aware. You're aware of other people
no, trust
and
me.
the things you imagine and fantasize about that they're going through struggles. I mean, that's not self-awareness. Disrespectful.
But
So,
they
Jonathan,
put themselves in the situation that they're going through struggles, which again is the ironic part about this. They voted for somebody who they thought would protect them. And that's the person who put their head on the chopping block. I mean, if you can't see that, that says more to your bias than anything about Jonathan. This is simply what he's pointing out. I shared a video with Jonathan today of the Latino woman who was on stage crying, "Oh my God, we gotta vote for Donald Trump. Everybody needs to vote for Donald Trump." And then today she comes out and says, he tricked us. He told us all these beautiful things on the campaign, and he said he wouldn't go after the legal immigrants, and he tricked us.
Yeah.
Never said that.
No, so Luis shared a post with me, and it was funny, and not funny. Nah, here I'll play the first part about it. I'll play the first part. That's not funny, man. Stop laughing,
It
John.
is
What?
funny, bro. It is.
Hold on one second. One
It's
second.
funny.
So Luis shared this. I'll let you guys hear the what you call it. Here it is right here. All right. So there she is. This is her in the beginning. I'm gonna turn this all the way up, all the way up. All right. So here we go. You guys can hear it. And so there we go. All right. Oh, come on, man. This thing wants me to sign in. So anyway, I have a password there. There it is. Okay, there it is. So Luis sent this over and it was funny as heck. Guys, all right, there we go. All right, so it's allowing me to go in. All right, guys, I because I never use this device for that. All right. All right, so anyway, let's go. All right, so Luis, I'll go for it again because now I'm signed in. And here she is. All right, not now. Mr. Trump, we vote for Mr. Trump. Yes, Mr. Trump, we love you. Few moments later. Don't betray. They used us. They actually during the campaign, and I don't want to make this political, but during the campaign,
the elected officials from the Republican Party, they actually told us that he was not going to touch the documented people.
So anyway, so there it is. So she was there. Trump was behind her, holding her hand up. She was sharing all this other stuff, and now her family's being deported.
She's
Now
a
her family's
plant,
being
bro.
deported. Her
She's a
family's being
plant.
deported. Trump was behind her, like, yeah, I got y'all, holding her hand up, yeah, going behind her, doing all this stuff, and like this right here. And now she's on stage crying, trying to get people to be sympathetic.
She's a plant.
She's not a plant. What are you talking about? She was on stage
Oh,
with
bro.
Trump. What are you talking about? She's a
No,
plant.
no. What I'm saying is she was up there because when she was like, "Oh, he said he would never take the documented people." I haven't seen any documented people being deported yet. But if she was talking about, he said he was only gonna go after criminals. No, they didn't say they were only going after criminals. They said they were going after them first, but they didn't say they were only going after
Well,
criminals.
Marty,
So let's
I think Marty, what they're talking about, people that I think she was referring to people that's in the process. Okay, they have the paperwork in the process, they have court dates, hearings, and stuff like that.
still technically
So,
illegal. Sorry.
what up? Okay, well, anyway, Rochelle, go ahead, jump in, Rochelle.
I mean,
Rochelle,
it could also be the people that's on a temporary protected status and stuff as well.
exactly.
He's going
Like
after
the
them.
Haitians.
That's
Yep.
that's it, that she's actually speaking of. But no, I was just listening to what Wyatt was saying to you, and it sounded like that's Doctor Responsible. But I digress.
It is.
Okay. He mentioned that that's why people voted against the Democrats and stuff, and so you lack empathy and all of that. Well, if you voted against a party and what it sounds like he's saying was a protest vote, then it doesn't matter. You're getting what you get. So I have no empathy or sympathy for any of the people who feel betrayed by him, because the delusion to think that he can go after a targeted group of people and that they would not be caught up in that web is their own lack of understanding of how civics work. And that's a them problem. And that seems to be what's happening around the country with all the videos that's all over social media, that's being posted by people, that's being shown in the media, even the town halls. When they did the medley of town halls that these Republicans are having to see how their people, their constituencies are going ballistic on them, hey, this is what you voted for. Project 2025 was real, even though he said he had nothing to do with it. And it's literally being implemented as we speak. And hey, it's what you voted for, is what you have. The only people I feel bad for are the federal employees.
Anyone else wants to jump in on this?
Why do you care? Well, first, before I say that, why are you mad at those people? Your party was so bad that they were tricked into voting for Donald Trump, who in their eyes is really a crazy person. Why don't you feel bad for these people? They're not Trump supporters. They're not people who believe like I believe. They're just were confused and angry, and they that you guys put up a terrible candidate, so they voted for Trump. You really should feel bad for them. They don't believe like I do. They believe like you do, but they got tricked and they were angry. Michelle.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing you could actually say. They went to a poll and cast a vote, and they got what they voted for. Period. That's what they did.
Well, first of all,
Definitely
you
not
you
the
wouldn't
dumbest
believe how
thing.
dumb things I could say, but I still don't agree with that. They were your people. Why
How do you know
they're
they were
gonna
our
vote for you?
people? How do you know that?
You're a Democrat, right?
How
And
how do you know
you're
that the
you're an
people that's
active
out here
Democrat.
whining
Yeah,
and
yeah.
crying are
We don't
not
know that. Yeah,
Republicans?
she's right.
Are not
We don't know
Republicans?
that
How do you know that?
exactly. We
Well,
don't
they
know that.
said you just said
One second,
she was on
One
stage.
second, one mic. Yeah, she's absolutely right. You don't know. Here's the thing: people made these. They made the decisions. A lot of these people voted, and they thought that they were going to be immune. They thought because they were voting that he wouldn't get rid of them. Listen, guys, because I want to go to Diana because it's I don't. This sounds a little leftist in this room right now. I want to go to Diana to try to balance this out. So go ahead, Diana.
I mean, listen, I laughed when Wyatt Responsible over here said that it was the Democrats' fault for putting up such a fabulous candidate, that all these poor people had to go and find a savior in Trump. And I agree. I think it's absolutely insane that after they believed that documented immigrants would be protected, that he did this. But that was never what was said.
America was promised that the immigration problem was going to be dealt with. And I come from a family of immigrants, right? They came here legally. And my question to the stage is there were a lot of gang members and straight up criminals who were part of TPS as well. And if the American people wanted to see change in immigration, what is the issue with starting with criminals and then going after TPS, which was going to expire in April? Now, I have issues with things like this where in April it was going to be expired and they did it earlier. I think that's wrong from a contractual level. But at the end of the day, in April, this was set to expire unless I'm incorrect.
Yeah, in May, I think, as August of this year, August of this year, is when it's set to expire, and they expanded it, something like that. But here's the thing, let me just say this right here: when you have these people, they voted because they thought they were going to be protected. They were given a bill of goods. Listen, if I'm voting for you, and you're saying, "Hey, I'm going to do this right here, but I'm going to do this right here, but I'm not going to do. I'm going to do it this way, and I'm not going to do it this way." And you're like, "Oh, I can live with that." Okay, and that means I can. That means lie. I live with that lie. Is what you're telling me. So, I mean, he lied. They voted for him because he lied. So that doesn't work for me. Yeah, so it is what it is.
Are you sure he lied though? Because he never said he wasn't going to do this. He just said he was going to go after criminals first.
All right,
That is true. That is
all
true,
right,
JB.
all right. We gotta go to four, guys. Got to go to four. So,
May I speak, Jonathan? Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, for the people with
We got to go to four,
TPS,
guys. Marty,
for the
pick one.
people with TPS, I'm sorry for them, and we have a lot of people on our family, and our Asian people, they have TPS. But let's figure it out. It's a TPS, temporary protected status. How can the people have temporary status for more than 10 years and be happy with it and never do nothing to change it? You know? So I think it's very fair now to get them out.
Uh oh.
Go ahead. Yeah. It's So
I
yeah,
mean, it is temporary. Temporary, 10 years.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
y'all need to stop. Just
yeah,
stop.
yeah. One
If it
second.
has a specific date, then that's the date. Period. And if you don't want to extend it past that date, then don't extend it past that date. But don't renege
Are we
either.
hating on Republicans in here
It's,
still? Is that what's happening?
Go ahead. Jump in, Jeremy.
No, we hating on when we're talking about what's going on.
No,
I just
what we're
came in, so I'm just
no,
curious.
no, absolutely. No, we're speaking about the what you call it, just basically the people that's being fired, and just things that was promised that's not been kept. So here's the thing, guys. Let's do a quick reset, guys. Yeah. So basically, there's a ton of federal, and Skull and I are speaking about this. There's a ton of federal employees, and glad to have you back, Skull. A ton of federal employees that have been terminated, and the judge actually did an order stopping the termination, and actually allowing for the reinstatement for many of the people that was terminated. So with that being said, a lot of people that were getting terminated was crying that they were terminated and that they are Trump supporters. Like that gave them some kind of special, I don't know, it gave them what? Some kind of special, what do you call it? Status, that protected status. So that's what we're speaking about. But here's the thing, guys. Let me go back to what you guys were speaking about. That woman that was doing that, she should have done her research. I would have said, like, lady, you're crazy. I mean, come on. If I was able to know that, she was in danger, her family, her loved ones were in danger, if I knew that, and I'm not in that situation, there's no way that she shouldn't have known that. That's just the way I feel. Scald, the mic's yours.
Yeah, sorry there. I had some internet issues. Took me a little bit to resolve, but I'm here now. So I mean, yeah, I've seen these TikToks also, like where a Trump supporter was on TikTok saying, "Oh, I thought they were going to come in and fire all the lazy government workers." And then he didn't, and then he proceeds to not explain who those fictional people are, right? He's not like, oh, it wouldn't be me. I thought it was going to be all the others. And then he said, oh, I thought Elon Musk would be more specific, right? I thought he was smart. I thought he would, pick people better, right? And it's like, no, that's not what's happening here. What we're seeing is more akin to a hostile takeover. But if you know anything about corporate raiding that used to happen big time in the 1980s and stuff like that, even those corporate takeovers, they would watch for 6 months, a year, right? They would get in the company, they would actually look at everyone's performance before they started making all the cuts. Here we are 38 days in with tens of thousands of people already cut. And it's just crazy. It's indiscriminate.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do, though?
No.
You're not supposed to come and evaluate people and then fire them based on valuation.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. But that's
That
not what's
was
happening.
not done.
That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. So, with that being said, guys, let me just say this right here. I'm gonna tell you the funny part about this. When you listen to the radio talk shows and the right-leaning radio talk shows like Hannity has call-in shows, man, these MAGA people are calling in and they are going bananas. They're what are they doing? We didn't hire Elon. He didn't. We didn't. And their radio talk show hosts are trying to make excuses, trying to calm people down because a lot of people on the right are calling in and they're furious. And then they have calls to the Congress right now. A lot of these congressional leaders, members, I should say, a lot of them are receiving phone calls from the constituents, like, "What the hell's going on?" And the guy says something, and then he goes, "Well," he's like, he couldn't answer. He didn't answer. He goes, "You can't answer because you don't freaking know, do you? You don't know, do you?" I mean, there's a lot of anger out there right now from people on the right. So when you guys are talking about libtards and the liberals and the crazies and everything else, and you guys get Grant in here, right? Okay, real and some of you guys, real Americans that was on the right that voted for Trump, they're panicking, they're going crazy, they're crying because they're watching their loved ones and themselves lose jobs. Now, let's say this, let's say the U.S. aid employs a lot of people and keeps a lot of people employed. And let's not think just about U.S. aid. Let's think about Medicaid. And when they start dropping those hospitals in Alabama, those 25 hospitals in Alabama that's at risk. Okay, 15 closing down right away. Guess what, folks?
But
When
why is
that
he doing this?
happens,
Why is he doing these things, Jonathan?
hold on. When that happens, it's no longer going to be just government employees. It's going to be private sector employees that work at these hospitals. Okay, and then there's going to be the businesses around those hospitals that depend on those hospitals to earn their business and living. So
Okay, that is not the truth.
that is the
Okay.
truth, Cindy,
No, it's
Uh,
100%.
not.
not
No,
at
it's not.
all.
4 hospitals closed down in Massachusetts last year. Okay. They're either merging or they can't make it in business, period. It's had nothing to do with Trump that 4 hospitals were closed down. Come on, cut the shit right now.
Cindy, do you want to?
No,
You're
no, no. Don't give
propagating
me Cindy,
Spencer.
Cindy, Cindy. That's the
Cindy, do you
truth.
want? Cindy, do you want to go down this lane because
Oh, we
I'll
can.
go down it with you, okay? Because they're
Yeah, I know.
proposing.
And all the Republicans are crying. Oh my God, we didn't know this was gonna happen. Come on, cut the shit.
None of
Stop.
honestly, we don't
Stop.
really care.
Stop doing that.
So
I'm
Stop doing
sitting here
that.
crazy.
eating gummy bears. I'm not. I'm unaffected. Actually,
I don't care either.
I'm very much
Go to
unaffected.
your gummy bears. Come on, stop exaggerating here.
Daphne, you get involved in the wrong trolls. I swear to God, you want to be popular so bad. So
Oh, you
so
hear
anyway
What did Daphne do?
so what I'm saying to you
her?
guys is
Damn,
right here.
you're gonna abuse
So
your girl right here,
what
huh?
that's right. No, that's right there.
What
But
happened to
Republicans
anyway,
are
Grant
crying.
yesterday?
I don't hear one
what I'm
Republican
saying. One
crying.
I
second.
got you, Daphne. Don't worry
Cindy.
about
No, you don't. Trust me. All right. So
it.
said. With that being
Yeah, I do.
said, when Cindy, you come in, Dr. Catherine, these hospitals. If the Medicaid cuts go through, will hospitals close? Yes or no?
Hospitals have been
Uh,
having financial problems. I'm sorry, I'm eating.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Cindy.
Financial
Yeah,
problems.
if
Come
you're
on.
gonna eat, get on
Yeah, yeah,
camera. Welcome to the
yeah,
party.
yeah, yeah.
No, there can only be four people. Look, hospitals have been having financial problems. A lot of the smaller hospitals in our state. I can't speak for yours. And if they haven't been taken over by the BIs and the
Where do you live
Brighams,
again, Jonathan?
me,
Jersey, but I want to hear. I want Dr.
That's
Catherine and
right,
Cindy go right. One
New
second. Go ahead,
Jersey. Okay.
I'm just
Dr.
saying, this was before Trump took over, okay?
Cindy, listen to me because you came in and you jumped right in the car and you
Yeah,
didn't even check out
I've
the
been
interior.
listening.
Listen to me. What I'm saying to you is, if Medicaid is cut, okay, a lot of people they get a lot of funding
If.
for this hospital. No, they're voting on those bills right now, Cindy, to
Okay,
cut
let's see what
Medicaid.
happens.
They
Okay.
they it passed the House already, Cindy.
Jonathan, the world's coming to an end, buddy.
Okay, all
No,
right,
I
Dr. Catherine, are you
mean, that's
there?
what you make it sound. You put
No,
fear in
Cindy,
people.
you're actually being an apologist right now.
No,
I'm
I'm
just
not.
being honest. I'm being honest. It does
No,
look,
I'm not being
Cindy.
an apologist right now.
Yeah, yeah, Cindy.
It's enough with the height and the animation of, oh my God, Trump, hospital's gonna close, Medicare, this, that. Come
People
on.
are calling into the websites crying.
Okay,
Oh, they're
yeah,
crying. Yeah,
mhm,
they're
yeah.
crying.
Cindy, here's the deal, and I'll say this right here. All right, because I want to make sure that you understand this, Dr. Catherine. First of all, you did, Dr. Catherine, to give some perspective on for these people that
Dr.
don't have
Catherine is
perspective.
not a president of a hospital.
No, she's not a
Dr.
president, but
Catherine is not
Cindy,
running
you're
a
not a goddamn
hospital.
president of a hospital either. But you're
What?
speaking.
I think she
Because
built one.
I'm speaking because I don't know, most of the presidents of these live in my home.
I understand that,
Brighams,
but Dr.
BI, Mass
Catherine,
General. Want me to keep going? The
no,
smaller
no.
hospitals aren't, Ray, a lot of small hospitals closed down in Massachusetts long before Trump. Am I correct? Okay, why did they close down, Ray? Exactly. They couldn't make
Cindy,
money.
okay,
This was
Cindy,
before Trump
but
got in.
before
So
Trump got
stop
in, but since
exaggerating.
okay, all right,
Yeah,
Dr.
okay,
Catherine,
yeah.
do you want to jump in real fast? Yes or no?
Okay, two quick things. Number one, Cindy is correct. Hospitals have been losing money for a while. It's going to be
We know that.
trickier. Okay,
No, no, no,
number
don't shut it down.
No, we know that.
yeah, I'm validating Cindy, and she's more of an authority because she knows business. She knows more hospital CEOs than I do. Number two, you guys, I really think everybody should stop eating after about 7 p.m., get to bed around 10 p.m. All of this late time eating is not good for your digestion. I'm going to bed. Good night.
Love and
Obviously,
As
light,
I,
she
get-
darling. Love and
I was
light.
eating a
right.
cookie.
Now, here's the deal, Cindy. Obviously, she didn't want to engage because she spoke to
I
this
suggest to
earlier.
folks to get
Hey,
Now,
enough
listen, I
protein
had to
in.
I was stuck in
one
a
second,
three-hour
Cindy,
Zoom meeting
Cindy, one
listening to a
second,
bunch of
Cindy, one
libtards tell
second,
me I can't have
Cindy. What? Can
lights.
you tell me you mute,
What?
No, Cindy. Here's the deal. Okay,
Yeah, go
when they
ahead.
cut this aid, a lot of these hospitals depend on Medicaid to
Okay.
survive. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, a lot of hospitals have been losing money for a long time. Now, if you take hospitals that's been surviving, that's barely surviving, that's been making the cuts and doing whatever is necessary to survive, once you remove that Medicaid, okay, where they get most of their funding, they no longer can survive, Cindy. And that's what's happening right now. So you're coming in and Cindy,
Where
one
do
thing you
hospitals, hold on, where do hospitals get most of their money from? Say that
uh,
again.
a lot of these hospitals get their money from Medicaid, Cindy.
How about
Absolutely.
donors? How about men and women that give millions and millions and
Not every
millions?
hospital is fortunate enough to get
Oh,
that, Cindy.
but the bigger ones do. You
But
know it
Cindy,
and
we're
I
not
know it.
talking about the bigger ones. We're
Well, what
not
do you want
talking
to
about
talk
the big
about? The
ones.
little dinky hospital that you and I don't want to go to anyways?
Cindy, that's all some rural communities have.
Well,
They have
then move away.
donations.
Get into a real state. What do you want me to tell you?
Cindy, you're being
Skull,
harsh.
you want to jump
I'm
in,
being
Skull?
real here. This is business, okay?
Yeah.
This is business. Business
Guys,
is
and
business.
this is the side you guys are on. That's the
No,
side
buddy.
you
That's
guys
I'm
are
the
going to
on.
say it
argument that was
again.
being had right now in the
Hospitals have
room.
been closing for a long time.
Cindy, we
They
know that,
can't
Cindy.
make money.
Cindy, that
This
Cindy,
has
has
that,
nothing to do with this,
nothing to do with
that has
Trump.
nothing to do with
That's
this
not Cindy. That
argument,
has
Cindy.
Cindy. What that
Has
has nothing to
nothing to
do.
do with who's president. Okay, well, let's blame Biden because it happened under his watch. Okay, there you go.
No, Cindy.
I'm gonna
At
I'm gonna
least we
pull
are
one of your
talking
moves.
about the
Here's
appropriation of funds, Cindy, the spending bill. We're literally talking
Yeah,
about
Exactly,
cuts.
Cindy.
Just
talking
let it.
about cuts.
Oh,
No,
whatever.
because you
Okay.
don't want to address the fact that there's a spending bill on the table, and that bill will likely cut Medicaid funding. And these hospitals in Alabama, in particular, that's being spoken of, heavily rely on said funding. That's what this conversation is about.
Okay.
That's literally what it's about, Cindy.
Well, I don't tell you. Can a
Alabama,
little
24
hospital in
Alabama
Alabama,
hospitals.
can it
There,
survive on its own?
there's a tremendous amount of Medicaid waste in the hospital system. I think that it should be taken
Thousand
up a
percent.
notch. It's
No one's even
awful.
arguing
Hey, Daphne,
for our
you were a
waste and
nurse.
abuse. We're
How much
talking
was
about
two?
the funding that
How
they
much they
receive.
charge Medicare for two Tylenol in a hospital?
Wait, I mean, it's ridiculous, and it's not just that. It's also the way that the healthcare system is set up. It's people that are on assistance of different types. For example, but they when they go to get care, they might be turned away, and the only way that they can get into a hospital is then to go and fill up the ER and things like that. And again, it's just you're wasting funds where they don't need to be. You're clogging up the system. It's a huge mess.
That's in the Daphne. People go into the emergency room. Unfortunately, in those rural areas, they actually that's where they go to. They tend to lean on the emergency room. And once again, that's because they don't have the doctors. They don't have all that. You guys are looking at things. You guys are saying things that just doesn't make sense. I'm not saying that doesn't happen in the rural. I mean, in urban areas as well. But in
Oh,
the
tons.
rural areas, that's where they count on the emergency room. So you guys are sitting here saying that, hey, cutting Medicaid, that's cutting the funding where most of these hospitals are getting their funding from, okay? Because most of their population, a lot of their population receive Medicaid, is not going to have an adverse effect on the hospitals. That just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense, but that's fine.
Do you know you have
That
a shortage of doctors to begin with? Do you know if you need an appointment with the doctor? Unless you're tied in, man, you're waiting 3, 4 months here in this country to get to see a doctor.
What does that have to
Two
do with what
months.
we're talking about, Cindy?
I'm just saying, look, it all comes down to a math equation. If the math equation's not working, it's not working.
So, Cindy, so if the 24 hospitals that's most at jeopardy, I think it's out of 87 hospitals, and they
in
shut
Alabama.
in Alabama specifically, and they shut down because of Medicaid cuts, then what will happen to the patients that are being seen, are being funneled to those hospitals, Cindy?
That's a major problem. So what you're telling me is what all the hospitals in Alabama are going to close down?
Did you not hear anything I just said, Cindy?
Yeah, I did. Is that what you
I
want me to
said
believe?
24 of 80 plus hospitals that heavily rely on Medicaid because of the individuals that they see are Medicaid recipients. What happens when Medicaid is cut and those 24 hospitals close? Some of them will close immediately. What happens to the patients?
They're
Rochelle,
going
is
to
that
go
a
to the other
rhetorical
hospitals.
question, or does someone in here
No,
No,
it's
I
actually have
asked
real.
an
Cindy a
answer?
No,
question.
it's real. It's not
Okay.
rhetorical. It's real.
Okay, so go to the other hospitals. You got how many more to go to?
Cindy, so let me tell you something, Cindy. So HHS is one of my agencies in my portfolio, and I would go on staff codels where they would take congressional staff from the Senate and the House on these codels, and we would literally go to hospitals in the rural areas. You know what happens sometimes, Cindy, when the hospitals are so spread far apart in the rural areas? Sometimes trying to get an ER van to a hospital or get a patient to the hospital, they have accidents along the way and people end up dying. Sometimes they have to try and medevac people to those hospitals and things happen. Sometimes they have to try and rely on just doing stuff through telehealth. It's absurd, Cindy. It's absurd. This is a real thing. People are sick, people are dying because of the lack of medical facilities in rural areas where a lot of the poorest people live, and they vote Republican, but yet and still is not serving them.
I think two things can be true
So
at the same time.
I will
What does
say
that mean,
this, right?
Daphne?
Because I
What's that? One second. One second. What does that mean? Two things can be true at the same time. Explain.
No, I mean, let him go ahead. I'm
No,
just
no, no. We want to because I don't want you to lose your perspective because you said two things can be true at the same time. Which two things are you referencing?
what was just said.
That people are dying. I mean, people are like rural. Okay, what she said was there's 24 hospitals, 80 some hospitals that was shut down. That's in danger of shutting down. About 15 of them will close down immediately if this bill goes in. It passes.
How
Okay,
do you know that?
because they're doing the research because they're looking at the cuts. Okay, that it's out there. In fact, we had it. If it's in your what you call it, it's in your Telegram, Cindy. You can go to your Telegram and look at it. The
But
information is there.
the $880 billion in cuts are over a decade, right?
Yes.
Right. And to frame the issue in Alabama into a little bit more life, these hospitals were already on the ropes. If you like do some Google searches about
Exactly.
this, you'll see articles in 2024 and all the way back to 2023. They have been struggling and they have been asking for Medicaid expansion and they have been calling their senators and calling their congressmen, and even the state house has tried to vote on reappropriating funds at the state level to try and stop this. They're already on like the ropes here, right? But this situation is not unique to Alabama. There are other states in our union that have similarly struggling rural hospitals, and this cut to Medicaid
Get
could
that poll
could
down
be the
before I
end.
break your face. Is Cindy making sense? Yeah,
What was
Cindy
that,
is
Cindy?
making sense. Cindy's making a lot of sense.
It's definitely
No,
happening
she
in
was
Georgia
looking at
as
the
well.
poll.
Well, Cindy, about 80% of the people say you're not.
I don't give a shit. 80% of what?
You
119
make sense. You
people?
make
Okay.
nonsense.
But anyway,
Out
Well,
of
look.
119
yeah,
people, I'm
yeah.
going to
One
worry
second,
about
Cindy.
80%?
One
Nonsense.
second, Cindy. Yeah, let's go finish. Let's go. Let's go. What were you saying?
No, I want Cindy to go.
No. Grant, you did. Skull,
You
go.
think
Finish
Let's
you
let's
up.
think
go
you're
Let,
running
let's
the
finish.
let
show,
Cindy
Finish
go.
up,
Jonathan?
Skull. Let's
I've
Jonathan,
go.
landed for now. I think
just
Cindy's going to make a point, and then
yeah.
I'd like
Thank
you
you,
to come
Scott.
after me.
And I
And
made that point, and you just backed it up.
Yeah,
The
thank
math
you.
equation doesn't work. These hospitals have been in trouble for a long time. That's
Cindy.
why
Since
we just,
2005.
I'll say it
No.
again.
Yep,
4 of
yep.
them closed down in Massachusetts. Why? Why? They could not
Thank
afford
you,
to stay
Skull.
open.
Okay.
Okay.
It's the
So this has
trans
been going
people.
on for a long time. This has nothing to do with Trump. Okay. If you're going to talk, let's have a conversation, but
Yeah,
don't point your fingers at Trump on this one.
that's right.
So Cindy, let's be objective, right, on this one, right? Because yes, you're absolutely correct on rural hospitals. There's been almost 200 rural hospital closures since 2005 up to 2023. There's been a
Thank
few
you.
more. Yes, Scold is mentioning yes, but now at the same time, yes, these cuts will continue and even furthermore affect some of these rural areas. But we can't sit here and act like the rural hospitals haven't been struggling for the past almost now 2 decades with
Thank you.
so many closures. So yes, this is going to affect them, but they have been in super deep water for quite some time now in
You
those
know,
rural
Marty, let me
areas.
just say this right
So
here. Marty,
why don't you, when you
hold
say
on.
the whole thing, why don't you give the whole article or all the information? Why is it
Actually,
always just a headline?
Cindy, we gave the whole Cindy. If here's the thing, Cindy, if a hospital is going to close because their Medicaid is cut, obviously that hospital is struggling and they rely on that Medicaid to stay afloat. Okay, if it was a prosperous hospital that had donors and everything else, we wouldn't be having this discussion. I didn't think that I had to do that. Okay, I thought that was stipulated. Okay, by the fact that we're having a conversation. All right, that's just like saying, someone that if someone lives paycheck to paycheck and they don't get their check, they're going to go
Jonathan,
under.
that's
Okay,
fine.
okay.
But
It's
why
all,
pretend about that you care about the people
it's
of Alabama? Why pretend
From
that?
Alabama? Because it's another dig to Trump. Let's call it what it is here, okay?
No, Cindy, it's not even a dig to Trump. This is a bill. Okay, and
But the reason these places are suffering, let's get down to the reason, is because we exported all our other countries. Okay, if you don't export all your jobs, that manufacturing would be in the Mississippis and the Alabamas. Instead, what we did was sell out like prostitutes. Yo, my God, we can make rubber ducks will be more affordable if they're made in China. Guess what? Alabama can't get health care because the hospitals aren't supported by enough infrastructure because there's not enough people there making any real money.
Exactly. That's why they have to be on Medicaid, and
And just to
Medicaid
be
doesn't
clear,
pay
Alabama's
shit.
not in the top list of closures. It's Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, Kansas, and Missouri
yeah,
are
but
of the
And they're
top
and,
I was gonna say,
and
five.
but
and
Marty,
it's
I
not just
guarantee you, they're
Alabama.
They're
This is across the nation. I'm sorry,
yeah,
Grant. I'll just say I want to back that up with the fact that listen, I grew up in the Midwest, and it used to be a manufacturing area, and all that stuff is gone now, and it does contribute to it's
yes, of course it
poverty
does.
now.
How could it not?
You
There's
guys aren't making any sense right
and
now.
those
One
states,
second,
Jonathan.
Grant.
I'm
Hold on,
sorry,
Grant.
Jonathan.
One
I'm
second,
sorry. I was
Grant. One
having a
second. Hold on.
conversation.
One second, Grant. One
Excuse me,
second.
Jonathan.
Grant. One second. One
Jonathan,
second. Grant.
take
One
a
second.
moment. Wipe your
One second.
glasses
Jack.
off.
Grant. 1 second. 1 second. Here's the thing. You guys are saying because it's happening all over the country. We just chose one state to illustrate that. The fact that it's happening all over the country and that these rural areas are losing their health care and they're gonna have to travel 100 something miles or whatever in some instances to get to a hospital, you guys are saying it's okay. And that
No
okay?
No,
one
Because
said
if it's
it's
happening all over the
okay.
I think two things can be
But
true
if
at the
the
same
mm,
time.
what two things are you talking about, Daphne?
the tertiary markets. Okay, this is also at a time where your boyfriend, what's his name, Billy Boy, Billy Boy at Microsoft, is saying we're overpopulated. What you're actually saying is we're underpopulated in most of these tertiary markets with not enough infrastructure, people, jobs, support, manufacturing, income, production, human production, people actually doing things that these communities can't support themselves. Don't you guys get it? If you guys go across the country and see all these failing markets, they're tertiary markets that are underserved, no manufacturing, no jobs, no GDP, on and on and on. Look at where
Grant,
the
that doesn't
problems
make
are.
sense.
Okay,
how
why
does
doesn't
that
it
how
make
does that
sense?
not
Let
make
me no.
sense?
What I'm saying to you is
You think
we're
you're going
talking
to close
about
a hospital in Aventura?
Here's the deal, folks. Here's the bull. Let's if they don't cut Medicaid, most of these hospitals survive. That's going to close. Most of them will survive a lot longer than they will if it
Nope.
That is
doesn't.
No.
not true.
No,
I
It's
just
not
said,
Medicaid
true.
doesn't
That's
well,
not
pay.
true.
No,
I'm
incorrect.
going
that
to
is
disagree
Medicaid
Well,
with
once
doesn't
the
you.
pay.
again,
whole room
once
saying
again, if they don't
you're
cut
full of shit.
Medicaid, I'll say it again. If they don't cut Medicaid, most of these hospitals, okay, will survive a lot longer and possibly survive, okay, if they do cut it.
So
I did say that.
you agree they're just on life support. The federal taxpayers around the country are basically extending the life of a broken patient.
No, Grant, because we're talking about hospitals in rural areas. That's what we're talking about. We're saying that because right now, and I want you guys that's listening, you guys that's listening to this, anyone that lives in a rural area, they're saying okay, and fuck the
No,
fact that
No,
no, because
no.
no,
We're saying
wait, no,
bro.
wait. We give
Some of these people
subsidies. No,
want
we
to be
give
off the
subsidies.
grid
No,
though.
we give subsidies to the oil companies. But now we're talking about, hey,
You,
let's get rid of. Yeah, you guys are fine with that, giving subsidies to oil companies and everything
no,
else.
Nope.
you
But for
actually don't.
hospitals, you guys are saying in rural areas where you get rid of that, people their life expectancy is going to drop and the treatment's going to. They're not going to have the treatment. You guys are fine with that.
Yeah,
no.
well, this is the
No one's
reality.
saying they're fine with it, but you
Yeah, you
can't
are.
afford to pay good doctors to be in those hospitals if those hospitals don't return a profit.
There's a
It's
Yes.
shortage.
business.
Thank you,
So
Cindy.
Period.
Cindy, the
Through the
doctors
Period.
aren't
chair, I just
So
complaining.
wanted
The
to.
doctors
the
aren't
doctors are
complaining.
there. They're not
They're
complaining.
not complaining.
It
The
doesn't
nurses are
matter.
complaining
Well,
We
yeah,
are.
because
they're not the
The
best of the
you're
doctors.
adding
Let's
something to
call it.
this that has nothing
the
to do with what we're
doctors
talking
So Cindy,
about.
everyone has to have the best doctors. That's what you're saying. They're not the best of the doctors. That's loony. That's ludicrous and loony.
Really good doctors go
So
to good hospitals. Let's call it the way it is.
Yeah, but so everyone. So where does the bad doctors go?
They always go to
Or
the
not
city
so good
hospital.
doctors? Okay, people. I would take a doctor that is a grade C.
Jonathan says he
Okay,
take
than
any
a doctor
doctor.
than no doctor. I would take a doctor that's a grade C than a doctor that's everyone can't have A+ doctors. I'll take a C+
Now
doctor.
now
Okay.
I don't want a
that's
C plus
crazy.
doctor. Thank you.
No, I just said I would take a C+ doctor over no doctor, is what I said. Okay?
Yeah.
That
You say that, but it's not true and it's not
Jesus
okay.
Christ.
And people are unfortunately sometimes getting subpar care, not because anybody cares to give it to them, but
So
because
Daphne, what's your
when
proposal?
there's not enough nurses to go around and we can't abandon our patients because those are the rules. There are a lot of problems in healthcare that people don't even see
Okay, Daphne,
beyond, way
what are you
beyond
proposing,
the money.
Daphne? What are you proposing?
I don't have a solution. If I did,
No,
it would
if
already
you
be
don't have a
fixed.
solution, then you're doing a lot of talking for someone.
Well,
What are
you
you
don't
That's what
have a
we're
proposing?
here to
solution
do.
either.
One second. Hold on, hold on.
We're here
No,
to do.
because you're saying
We're having a conversation.
so. What I understand that. Well, what are you
I want to
proposing?
know.
Because
I'd like
hey,
to know
Grant,
something,
1 second.
Jonathan.
I want to find out what's your solution because you're saying that it's okay to get rid of these hospitals. Is what you're saying. Okay.
They're going
No,
anyways,
I
buddy. They've
they're
been
not going
going.
anyway, Cindy.
Yeah, they have been. You're only listening to one side here. You're not being
Cindy,
So
who
so
objective.
so,
who said that
so
they were going to go somewhere? Cindy, they're
this
they're
is crazy.
operational. They're open, functioning. They're operating.
Exactly. This is
Again,
So, like, who?
Rochelle,
So, but
if
who
they're
said that they're going to
not
go
making
somewhere?
money, they can't sustain.
Cindy,
No,
no,
Rochelle,
they
don't tell
are.
me about
They
Hey,
business,
are
okay?
they are being sustained,
Business
Cindy.
is
That's why
business.
they're operational, even if it's at
Okay.
the hand of government assistance. Yeah, I mean, y'all don't have a problem with all the government contracts and subsidies that Elon Musk is receiving. Y'all do know
Rachel.
that His Starlink
Why
is
do you
going to be
always
taking
turn
over
things?
from Verizon
Stay on
at the
This is about
995.
FAA. So it's
subsidies.
another way he's going to
Let's not
start
go there.
making
Hold on one
money.
second.
It's
Let's
another
This
way
stay
he's going to
here
is
on
start making
Medicaid.
money. But in
this is
respect to
what you
Hold,
do. You
Daphne,
stay
so
on a
you believe that it's
subject
okay to have
and then
no
you throw a
doctor
haymaker.
yes,
than
You
a
know what
C
I'm
she
minus
talking
already
about,
said
doctor?
right?
that. She already said that.
You
She already
believe it's
said
okay
that.
to have no doctor than a C minus doctor,
I'm
Daphne?
so sorry.
okay.
I read something and I missed that. Say it one more time,
I say you.
Yeah,
I
Michelle.
say, are you
I
saying
don't
that
want to
it's
see minus
okay to
doctor.
have no doctor than to have a C minus doctor?
Hell
Not
Yeah,
even
no.
that's
No,
relevant.
crazy.
that's
I
not what
don't
I.
want to see minus doctor. I'll
No,
do that
no.
shit
Not what I
myself.
said.
Jonathan said
I
that
can't imagine. I can't
And I
imagine.
said
he would
that's
rather
not
have a C minus
okay.
doctor than no doctor,
No, no,
zero doctor. And
Daphne,
you said you disagree with that.
Exactly. That's
Said.
exactly what she was trying to agree with Grant. She was
The
trying so
doctor
fast to
tells
agree
you,
with
hold on,
Grant. She was trying so
Shut
fast to
up,
agree with
Grant.
Grant that she said, yeah, because it didn't make
Daphne,
any
I love
sense.
you, Daphne. Daphne,
Whatever.
Shut up, Grant.
Imagine you, the doctor says,
So
look, I just
Daphne,
want,
now that you know what
No, hey,
Jonathan
Grant,
actually
Hold on,
said,
hold on. Let
Rochelle,
him roll.
okay,
Let him roll.
Rochelle asked her a question, Grant. Let her answer Rochelle's question.
who are you, dude? Why do you talk so much, bro? Hey, by the way, if
Or
you
let
guys
go
don't
on
know,
Rochelle
mute.
talk the whole time.
Fuck.
Jonathan,
Go on
Jonathan,
mute.
Yeah,
Jonathan,
no.
hey, if
Well,
you
all
guys
you
are
other
listening on
haters is
iTunes
missing
or
my name. Why don't
podcast,
y'all talk?
Yeah. So Daphne, Rochelle
no, no,
asked the question. Go
Ah,
ahead and answer the
Okay,
question.
Jonathan,
friendly fire. Who
Jonathan, you're
wants
missing
me?
the segues, Jonathan.
It was just that one question,
Grant.
Daphne.
Go ahead, Daphne.
I that was a lot, and I'll just my stance is this: again, I feel that unfortunately that there are a lot of problems within our healthcare system, and because of
A
that,
C
there are
minus doctor, a C doctor, or no doctor. A doctor that's rated C level or
Hey,
no doctor. That was the
Jonathan,
question.
you interrupted me. I was asking Daphne a
No,
question.
I know. Grant, she's gonna ask this
Yeah,
question. Then you can
I know
Why,
answer
the
the
C
why,
question.
dude? Why
doctors.
do you do this, bro? You make it for a terrible listening environment.
Grant,
Daphne,
good,
You make it
Grant,
terrible.
Great. Because no, because we asked the question and you jumped over it. And you think that just because you jumped over it, that was going to stop. We're going to ask this question and then you're next. That's fair enough. So that's all we're doing. So C minus doctor versus no doctor, Daphne.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry.
Go to your C minus hospital, and when you're
Hey,
supposed to have your left leg amputated,
Cindy, one second, please. Because we would have been done minutes
Jonathan, the
ago.
whole show becomes you telling people what to say and do and where to.
I know, Grant. You're right. So
I'll,
anyway,
I'll give it. I'll give it a good shot at the answer. But here's my challenge. My challenge is that for me to give an answer, I need more context. Because if you ask me in an airplane or on a playground,
Yes,
which doctor is
exactly.
which, I mean that I don't see when this is
Exactly.
actually happening.
Daphne,
Daphne, if you were on an
Daphne,
airplane and
excuse
had a
me, my
medical
turn now.
emergency, and if there was just a doctor who Jonathan called the C doctor on the plane, and you needed medical attention, would you rather not get medical attention because that C doctor is on the plane versus zero attention?
Well, first and foremost, a phone call has to be made before either doctor can touch them.
Yeah.
But
If
that's
you're
a
on
whole
the
other
plane,
story.
and
Daphne,
she's
So
afraid to disappoint Grant
Hey, Daphne,
and Cindy.
uh,
Daphne,
She's
I'm
afraid
with
to
you,
disappoint
Daphne.
Grant and Cindy. That's what
That's
she
right.
did.
depending on
Me
some
and
of the
Daphne,
knowledge that
me
I
and
have.
Daphne are
That's
friends.
bullshit.
Okay,
Which
Jonathan, don't get jealous.
I'm not
Okay,
jealous. I hate when people
we have a
clap
special
so hard for
relationship.
someone that they're
bro.
not even their self. I've been
Okay,
around her when they're not their self because they're
got it,
trying to impress someone.
got
I'm
it.
just
Okay,
go
got it.
ahead.
I,
Get fed up
let
with it.
me.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening on podcasts or iTunes, make sure you download the Chatter app so you can be. And make sure you tell your friends. It gets debate. The news gets crazy. Jonathan being the super host, moderating and sometimes over moderating. We always have Marty here in the room. It's called Bringing Some Intelligence. Cindy, no nonsense. What's her name? Stumpo. And then we also have the crazies in the room. Now, I have a question for you, Daphne.
yes, sir.
You're somewhere in Indiana. Your spleen is broken open. And I'm with you, Daphne. And the doctor says, before I go in here and do this surgery, I want you to know C minus on spleens. You get in a car right now, you got 3 hours to get to Chicago. Tell Cardone, drive your ass over there. What are you doing?
I mean, Indiana it is. Let's go. Giddy up, right?
Wait. You're gonna do the C. You're gonna do the C minus.
I mean, if I'm not going to be awake. I'm going to have to leave the decision to you.
What would you
Listen,
do,
Daph,
Jonathan? What if the guy said I'm a C minus? I'm a C minus
bro.
doctor.
Grant, you will take the C minus doctor if getting out of your stomach, bro. You'll take that C minus doctor to get you to a
Marty, let's get
No.
hospital
real.
Or
Marty,
before.
thank you
yeah,
for
but
being
y'all didn't
real.
let y'all didn't.
You're real.
Like, come on,
There's a lot of
bro.
people in here
An emergency is an
that is
emergency.
enamored with fucking
I get
fame
it
and
if we're
wealth.
in the hospital where there's other options, but dude, if you're on the side of the road and the guy who pulled
No.
over,
But what I said, Marty, was, or it's a 2 hour drive to Chicago.
dude, that's 2 hours.
But again,
Dude,
it's yeah,
but
it's
that's the
split
thing, right?
medicine,
Listen,
but
but listen, Daph,
Well, which
this
one are you
guy,
gonna
you
do
know what?
though?
Guess what? The 2 hours is 100% out of my, like, it's 80-20 at that point.
You may
But this
still
doctor
die
who
on your
has
way
some
there. That's crazy.
experience,
No,
That's
yes, you may
bullshit.
still die.
no.
I
Okay,
may
let's say
still
you're
die
not gonna
either
die. The guy
way.
says, "Yeah, you got 2 hours, dude. I suggest you go to Chicago because I'm C
Well
minus."
then, well then,
Exactly.
obviously,
So
yeah,
this
but
is what
I
Daphne
would
was
go with
saying.
the
You need
best doctor.
but
context.
you phrase that. But you see how you kind of,
Now
but
he's
if
trying to
you
change it
don't
up, but it's just
construct it,
crazy.
Okay,
It's
but
just
let me
but
crazy.
give you
Grant, if
another
you
one,
don't
Daphne.
I'm being
construct it
Daphne, let
that
me give
way,
you another one,
oh,
Daphne. The guy says, "Look, I'm C minus at this. In fact, I'm a D. But if I don't fucking
Now I'm a
try, you
D.
die.
Okay.
If I don't try, you die. What are you gonna do now?"
Again, I think I know too much to play this game, but yeah, a spleen like that's an emergency. They've got to do it. But I always would want the best healthcare I could get.
Yeah,
So again,
exactly, Jonathan. Like it depends on the situation, bro.
two things can be true at
if
the
Jonathan,
same
it's
Jonathan,
time.
not
Bro, what are you talking
dire,
about, bro?
you're
Jonathan,
going to
What I
go
said
after the
Jonathan.
was
Hold
deaths.
on.
what I
One
said
last
is
thing.
I would rather have a C doctor than no doctor. And you guys are saying, no, I'd rather have no doctor. It's just hearing
No,
that
she
shit is
didn't say
crazy.
that. Nobody said that.
Yeah, actually they did say that.
No,
Daphne, you
Michelle,
gonna I'm sorry, Daphne, you gonna die booty clapping,
yeah,
Can
riding
I
in the
just
because
car,
say this?
Michelle, did you,
riding in the
Michelle,
car
did,
with
I don't
Grant.
even know
wait, hold
you.
on,
Grant
one second,
Grant gonna be
one second.
calling your family, letting them
No,
know that you expired along the way en
no,
route to the other place.
one
I'm letting
second.
you know.
Hold up, people in the audience, did you guys hear her say when Grant said that, like, no, she'd rather have no doctor than C? Did you guys hear that as well?
she didn't say that.
She did say that. 100%
No,
she
no,
said
she
that.
Absolutely.
didn't.
Yes,
No,
she
she
did.
didn't.
Oh
She
my
said with
goodness, I
Everyone
Indiana,
can't
let
for
heard
me
it.
that.
know.
Everyone heard it.
You
She
guys
said
make sure you
Indiana, let me
download the
know.
episode to hear the
Okay?
truth.
Everyone heard it. Everyone heard it. Okay? And this is recorded.
Hey, this just
Indeed.
happened to me, man. I just had my spleen busted in a motorcycle accident on the side of the road. I
And
have
you got to
no
move
idea
fast.
who fixed it. Thank God. Whoever did it, thank you, man. I don't know what you got in school, but you fixed me. Thank you. I'm here to
Amen.
talk
Oh,
to
you
you
know
guys.
what? Perfect example. And this isn't
Glad
even
you're here,
because once
Charles.
again, in regards to the rural hospitals thing, and I'm reading a lot up about it right now. It's been a long cause thing, right? But even with the C doctor, dude, that's like any basic paramedic that pulls up. You know what I'm saying? They're damn near all C's compared to the doctor that's going to treat you at the hospital, but they're able to get you in a certain condition. They're able to, stabilize you until you can get to those doctors. So technically, that's
Bro,
that C doctor that you're,
Marty,
I'm just saying, bro.
Marty, the thing that I
What's
want
up?
in that situation, C doctor. I just want me a B plus.
Okay. So
Bring it back
Daphne,
to
Hey,
they
basic.
saying it's a
Can
Jonathan.
shame
I can
that
I
Grant
touch
wouldn't
on
even
A,
basic?
Grant
a
wouldn't even
B
put
a
you
B
on
yeah,
his
plus
jet.
everything
a B plus
yeah.
nurse.
Daphne, they
Not
saying he
not
won't even put you
Michelle.
on the
Not
jet.
Michelle as a
Yeah.
nurse. That'd kill me.
All
If
right,
Yeah.
can
Michelle
I
was
chime
They're
in,
hired,
saying
that would
please?
Grant said
kill
he's
me.
gonna drive her. They
Yeah.
saying
Can I
Grant won't
chime
even
in?
put you on the
Yeah,
jet, Daphne.
A doctor
yeah.
say they're
This is
C
divine.
plus.
Can
Yeah,
I get in here,
exactly.
please?
You guys,
Ever.
Okay.
it's crazy as hell that people are sitting here like complaining about the rural hospitals, guys. Listen
Yeah.
to me.
But let me
That
just say this,
what
Jonathan. If was my nurse, I would tell the doctor to kill me.
Exactly, because if they don't, I will, Grant.
I'd rather that happen.
You
That'd
are
be
too
fucking. That's a great
much.
alternative.
You guarantee expiration if I have to deal with you, Grant.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
I don't know
The
how you
love
do
in
it,
here,
but
you
look,
guys. The
can I
love.
bring this? Can I bring this to the table real quick,
Go,
please?
let's do
Let's
it.
do it. Let's do
Besides,
it.
yeah,
Please.
besides that, Dr. Catherine brought this up the other day, and I just googled it. 41% of the births in this nation, you pro-lifers, 41% of the births that happen in this country is because of Medicaid. We're talking postpartum, we're talking care for the child after the child is born. So again, you don't want to go messing with our medical system by just not only are we gonna lose hospitals, we're putting women's health at risk. We're putting the birth of our children at risk. Well, not you children, because everybody's in here is rich, right? None of you guys get Medicaid, but
very careful when we just start slashing things. I call them Donald, put it in reverse Trump. We have to do this the right way. We need to call on our congressman. We need to call on the House and the Senate. He needs to call them out. Get me a bill, make it make sense, put it on my desk, and I'll sign it. That is not happening. We have a bunch of EOs being thrown to the wind. Donald, put it in reverse Trump. And I'll land with that.
Yeah, Divine, let me
It's
ask you,
I
about
want to read
Divine,
corruption.
this.
Divine,
There
what
there's
are
so
birth?
much fraud in Medicaid. And I'll just say this, me and my wife were up. No, we're in Jackson at the state capitol all day today with we had a ton of pharmacists there meeting. I've been hammering down. It's mostly about PBMs, pharmacy benefit managers, who they don't even pay us what the medicine cost us, but they're paying CVS Caremark like 2,000 some odd percent. What this really comes down to, and I don't know how the fraud problem is, and I talked to senators today, I talked to congressmen today, chairmen on these committees, and the big corporate. I mean, Mississippi just recently had a $50 million insurance fraud. They sued. I forget the name of the insurance company. I don't know how that ties into cutting Medicaid, but I'm telling you, Medicaid doesn't pay. They don't pay like medicine. They don't reimburse the doctors or that's why there's an issue with the hospitals having to close, because Medicaid doesn't pay,
Yeah,
because all the money is going to these huge insurance
the
companies. And I'll
scams in
land with
front
that.
of it.
Yeah, I mean that's it. And so look, they're
Taylor knows what
making.
he's talking about,
Look,
Jonathan.
I'm telling you, and Jonathan, don't shake your head, dude. Come on, I never come off mic. And Rachel can. The other day, I came off about. I was telling everybody I'd heard some Social Security information from a dude who's like a regional manager in there, and it was you. Rochelle can back me up here. It it pretty much proved that a lot of
Rochelle will
that is
back up for
just
anything.
smoke and mirrors. Anybody else that hurt, so it didn't um, it didn't look well for Dodge or whatever. Rochelle, will you just chime in real quick and say yes? Like,
I'm backing you up, Taylor. I got your
thank
back.
thank
She'll
you.
back up
And
on anything. She's so
yeah,
lonely.
look, I know, and I
Well,
told look, I told everybody that day. I said the reason is I don't speak much, so when I do, if it whichever way it kind of favors, I want y'all to like. I don't want people to say, "Oh, here Taylor comes with just his right views." No, because that fact that I came in, Marty, why are you shaking your head, dude?
No,
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 I'm
because
telling
he
I
you,
was
knows you're
actually
making sense.
saying Grant got no. I was gonna say Grant, you
this,
got to get
no,
off his
Grant is
shit.
the one
JB,
with all the lizard lots. So yeah,
yeah.
that's what
And
you do,
I'm
Grant.
all I'm saying is I'm not saying that the cut
All he's saying
Medicaid
is
is
the
okay.
truth. Taylor,
Oh
Taylor,
yeah,
Taylor, truth.
I'm not saying Medicaid needs to be cut or whatever. I'm saying like, and we've been begging and
Cut
pleading
it.
because I know independent pharmacies are about to be done and unheard of if something doesn't change. Same thing with that. The problem is all the money is going to politicians and corrupt insurance companies, and that's the truth. Like I could show y'all pictures of medicine that we pay $500 for, and we have to wait a
He ain't
hundred and
lying.
180 days to get paid $400 for it. So pretty much we're losing $100 to provide a service to somebody. Medicare pays okay, but Medicaid, it's all corruption, dude, and that's not left or right. That's what we got to fix. And Jonathan, you
Definitely.
can shake your head,
No, no,
but
no,
with
no. I
all due
agree.
respect,
Wait,
man,
wait,
like
what's your
No,
that's
name,
the
bro?
you know
problem.
your business. You know your business. I'm not shaking my
What's your
head
name,
about that.
bro? Hold on. What's your name?
Who, me?
What's up,
Taylor.
Jeremy? Hold on.
Taylor, did you
Tell her.
hit me up on Instagram
Yes, I
What?
did.
about?
Yeah,
Jeremy, one
You,
second,
I
one
did.
second.
hold on.
Yeah,
No, you hit
No,
me
no,
up
no,
about this
Jeremy,
exact
Jeremy,
same
we're
thing,
talking.
right?
Jeremy, we're talking. 1 second. We're
yeah,
talking, bro.
yeah. I did. I
So,
sent you a
so
message a
yeah,
couple
no,
weeks ago.
tell her. Listen to me. I know you know your business. I'm not calling you on that. Okay, and I think everything you're saying is correct and true. I'm not disputing that. But when we start talking about anything, if we talk about banking, financing, if we talk about foreign aid, whatever we speak about, or we talking about hiring, whatever we talk about, you're gonna find fraud and wasting. Okay, that's just the way it is. Okay, and I'm not saying it's okay. It's not okay. So, but you're like, it's like let's throw the baby out with the bathwater. That doesn't work.
No,
All
I
right. So,
didn't. I specifically
Well,
said I'm not
yeah, I know that.
agreeing. I'm
I
not saying
understand
the
that.
cuts are okay. I'm saying that's where the problem lies. Now let's discuss how to fix
right.
that instead of arguing over do you want to get saved by a C grade doctor or not see a doctor. Let's get the word out and discuss. Hey, how do we fix this stupid greed, corruption? And that's what
Well, let's get at that because I agree with you. I do agree with you, and the Office of the Inspector General agrees with you. They found 39 billion in fraud. Now, all the Inspector Generals got fired by Trump, but they did find 39 billion in fraud last year, right? Which is like what 1/16 of the Medicaid budget. Because let's assume that they didn't find all the fraud. That's a fair assumption. So let's say it's
Well, did
one
they hold
sixteenth of
anybody
the
accountable?
Medicaid budget's fraud, right? So obviously there's fraud there. They just opened an investigation into UNH. If that name sounds familiar, that's the CEO that just got Luigi'd, right? So they just opened an investigation into that insurance company, United Healthcare, for this exact fraud. They literally opened it earlier this week.
Yep, we get a
So
check from Healthcare too, and they suck too.
yeah, well, exactly, right. And so Medicaid's they've already opened an investigation. But what I'm hearing from you is here's this problem. We need to address it. What I'm hearing from some people is you're not going to get health care, die, right? So that is not a plan. That is like, that
Who's
seems to be
saying
the
that?
right's plan. Some people, the right, seem to be that's their plan. Your
No one's
hospital's going to
saying
be
that.
closed. You're going to have to figure
What?
it out. That's not a plan, guys.
What are you
And
talking
I'll land
about?
here
Who?
for now.
So,
Jeremy,
hey,
one mic.
JB,
Yeah, guys, 1 second, guys. We can't talk over people. We're in a live podcast right now. We can't talk over people like that. That's
Is
That
this a
all.
I'll
live
say that.
podcast right now?
I know,
Can I
but
Nurse
say,
has
don't you?
her
I
hand
mean,
up,
that's an
Jonathan.
insane statement.
Jonathan?
That's
Can I
an
say one
insane
last thing?
statement.
I think Marilyn was trying to say something. Who's that? Marilyn, was you trying to say something?
I don't
Oh
think she
no.
knows she's off mic.
Oh, she's off mic.
Nurse
Okay.
has her hand up, Jonathan.
Go ahead, nurse. Let's go, nurse.
Good job, Rochelle.
Nurse
Shut up.
going
Right. Way to get
twice.
at it.
Great job, Rochelle.
No, one
Great
second,
job,
guys.
Michelle, getting at it.
Yeah.
Zero tolerance, people. Zero tolerance.
He's whipping us.
No.
I
Zero
just
tolerance,
sent.
people. Zero
Okay,
tolerance, people.
can I say something?
Go ahead,
I
Debate
Cindy.
the
just sent.
news with
I
zero
just,
tolerance.
John. I
Go ahead,
just
Cindy.
sent Marty 4 to 7 hospitals that have closed down prior to Trump getting into office. Marty, am I right or am I wrong? Do you have him on your
Cindy, we're
phone
not
right
No,
now?
disputing.
absolutely. I'm looking at
Cindy,
him
we're
right
not,
now.
Cindy,
Okay.
no one disputing that. Cindy, listen to me. Cindy,
So
no
if it's
one has.
happening in Massachusetts, which is a pretty rich state, it's going to happen all over the
One of
country.
the wealthiest states in the country.
Cindy,
Thank
no
you. It
one.
is.
What are you guys doing? You guys are conflating. No one's
No one's
saying that's not
conflating. We're
happening.
making
No,
the
no.
bottom
Cindy,
line,
Cindy.
John. If a hospital can't make money, it closes down or gets bought out or
Yeah.
merges with another hospital.
No, Cindy.
Try
What?
to
Let me ask.
understand
What is the
that
Cindy.
context?
everything is a math equation, Jonathan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Cindy, sometimes, okay, because of the proximity, okay, there are some hospitals or some things that services that loses money because it's essential to the community. Is what we're saying.
And I'm
Okay,
telling you, those hospitals I just sent Marty, they're not downtown Boston, okay?
okay, I
They're
get
Yeah.
that.
outside of Boston.
Jonathan. Hey,
Can,
Jonathan. Let
can
me
I
ask you a
ask
Ho-
one
question, Jonathan.
question?
So
I want to
One
ask a
I
second.
think
question,
it's
Jonathan.
interesting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Hold on.
Grant.
It's like
Go ahead, Grant.
yeah, it's like three people
Can
jumped in
I
at the
Let's
ask a
same
go.
time.
question, Jonathan?
Grant.
Jonathan, let's say
People in the world.
16 people move to some city that we don't know about. Should the American taxpayers put a hospital there for those 16 people?
Grant, the hospital. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, okay. Well,
Once
just
again,
tell me
that
what
doesn't make
number.
sense. What you're saying. That's not what you're saying. Grant, a hospital's already there. Guys, see,
No,
Grant,
no.
He's
Let's
playing
say
that. He's
some
playing that
people
hocus.
want
Okay, the
people.
hospital's
I'm
already
asking
there.
you. I'm asking you a situation. Okay, just some guys want to get off the grid. 35 people, 35 families, and they each have 4 people. It's 140 people want to get off the grid. They choose to get off the grid. They don't want to be in the metro area. Should the American taxpayers or the state property taxes fund a hospital for those 160 people?
That's not a relevant question, Grant. It's not relevant at all. We're
How
not
is it not
speaking
Okay.
about
relevant?
putting. Well, no. Let me finish. I'm going to answer the question. We're not speaking about going and put a hospital there. We're talking about a hospital that's already there to serve the
Okay,
community
let
that
me ask you
already
this question.
exists.
That's great. I got it. Let's say that used to be 160,000 people in a town, and that town now, because of manufacturing left, is only got 1,600 people left in it. Should that town continue to be supported as though there was still a population of 160,000 people?
Grant, that town wouldn't be supported like that, okay? Because a lot of people would have moved, the businesses would have left, a lot of things would have left on its own, Grant.
Okay, good. Now
That
let me
doesn't
ask
make
you this
sense.
question. Let's say a town,
Oh my God, you're reaching. Go
the
ahead.
last one. Let's say a town, because these hospitals, 70% of them don't make money, and the ones that don't make money is because they don't have alternative. Not alternative. They don't do what's the procedures called, Daphne, that are funded out of pocket? They're
What, cosmetic?
You're
selective.
talking about
Selective.
elective
They're
surgeries,
elective,
right?
elective, not
Elective.
selective,
Yeah.
elective, right?
Yeah.
That's how hospitals make their money. That's why they suffered during COVID, because you couldn't do elective. Nothing elective was allowed. So you couldn't if you couldn't do a nose job or eye surgeries or whatever stuff people do, right?
Right.
So
I don't know. You
because
break your wrist and you couldn't get your wrist fixed, and you end up with
So
arthritis and
what
everything.
does that have to do with
But
so
what
let's
we're
say
doing?
let's say this town say this town over the last 100 years aged, and people were no longer doing elective surgeries in those towns, and there's still a population there, but it's all on heavy care.
Grant, that hospital's going to
All,
close on its own, Grant. The hospital's going to close on.
exactly. So at
What
what
do you,
point should the American taxpayer just say, let that one go, let it close?
Grant, that happens every year. Cindy just said she sent a list over
So
four
so
or five
what's
hospitals
what?
that closed.
So
That
we're all
happens all
agreeing.
the time. Grant, that happens all the time.
So
All
Marty,
right.
he's agreeing with me, right?
No, I've always,
Yes.
once again,
So
let the free
Skull,
market.
you agreeing with me too, right?
No, let the free market handle this. Okay, I've said that, but there's some hospitals that's been struggling. Okay, that's struggling. That's on the ropes. That's very much needed in that community. Now, here's another thing.
Okay, but
There are other
you
businesses
just
and
said let that.
services. No, I'm gonna land. I'm
Okay,
almost done. There's
okay.
other businesses and services that's relied upon that hospital as well. Okay, that the hospital is usually the biggest employer in these small towns, first of all, and then there's other businesses and services that rely on a hospital as well. So that hospital goes under. Okay, now it destroys it destroys
Yeah,
a lot. So
yeah.
I'm sitting here. We're talking about rural hospitals. You guys
That's
are
right.
saying
That's right.
you
You're
guys are
right.
saying let it go under.
The whole
That's what you guys
community is
said.
going to go down, dude. You know, a community that can't support a hospital is a dying community. This
I
is not
actually
a
have a
new thing,
question if you don't
folks.
mind.
People have entire civilizations have expired and moved to
Jeremy,
other
go ahead.
parts of the world.
Jeremy.
Oh, thank you, Jonathan. I'm here every night supporting you, pushing people to iTunes and show, and you want to
I
cut
know.
me off.
I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
cut
fine.
you off. You said what you wanted to say. Jeremy jumped in and said he
Oh
had a
no, but I'm
question.
just saying, like study history, bro. Civilizations and
Bro,
populations
bro,
migrate.
Can I actually
bro.
add
What I'm
something if you don't
saying to
mind?
you right now. Well,
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Jeremy.
I know you agree with me, Jeremy,
I want
I
to. I want to address
100%
something.
I agree with you.
One second, Jeremy.
because
Grant,
Jeremy's
I want to
Jewish
address
and
this
he
right
knows
here.
the Jews are always going to have hospitals.
Yeah,
That's
guys,
crazy.
one mic. I said.
that's right, because the Jews are the biggest donors to hospitals. Let's call it factual.
Yeah, and they
That's why we
fund
have
their.
things like Cedar Side.
I
What's that
think
mean? Don't say
Catholics might give
Jews?
you a run for your money. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you can't say Jews on this channel.
No, I know you guys know what Jews. That's something else. But anyway, what I would say is this right here, folks. What I would say is this. First and foremost, Grant, to answer your question, uh, I the hospitals are dying on their own. Okay, and these right now,
Agree.
okay, right now these cuts are going to accelerate
Why
that.
did I just get kicked down? I'm confused.
The,
It's
the,
probably
the, the,
Rochelle. She's the racist.
they're going to accelerate. These cuts are going to accelerate it. All right. That's what's going to happen as a result of what's going on here. These cuts will accelerate what's going on. So, with that being said, there are going to be a lot of communities right now and a lot of people without jobs, okay, from doctors, nurses, okay, people with the blood, phlebotomists, all this other stuff. They're all going to be without jobs, okay, in these communities. And Okay, the people that depend on it, the transportation people, and all the other people, the laundry people, all the other people that work at this hospital that have contracts at these hospitals, they're going to lose their jobs as well.
No, bro. The community's going to die.
Okay.
Period. The
That's just,
community is
can I
going
actually
to
add to
die.
that now?
Go ahead,
Right.
Jeremy.
Okay. Well, first, Ben, can you tell your guys not to keep kicking me down? It's weird. But second of all, I'm from a very, very, very small town called It's like Waterville, Maine, right? I think our population is maybe like 10,000, maybe. We have a hospital that's like it's got to be like $1 billion facility. It's insane how big and grand the hospital is,
Okay.
and it is so unnecessary for the population. Can you explain to me like why we would build such a grand hospital for such a rinky-dink town? I don't understand that.
Somebody funded it.
I don't know. I can't explain that. I'm not speaking about particular
I
situations.
mean, it's government funded for sure, but it's not
I'm
like.
speaking. I'm speaking about the people. Go ahead, Skull. You trying to get in?
Hey, I
Well, I just hear these free market arguments, and that's fine. Free market's fine. We as a nation have agreed to have the profit motive be involved in our healthcare. I don't know why we made that decision, but that's the way things are here, at least. So, as long as we're working on that thing, yeah, I mean, I guess health services should be right sized to their community, but complete elimination, that's crazy. And completely eliminating them without a plan, right? So if you were saying, hey, we're shutting down 15 hospitals and we're opening 15 clinics, like, oh, okay. But saying, hey, we're going to shut down these hospitals and you're going to have to drive an hour, like that's not an answer. That kills people, right? That's not an answer. And you're going to accelerate the decline of rural America. And rural America is overwhelmingly supportive of Trump. So you're going to accelerate the decline of your base. So, I mean, it just boggles my mind
Yeah.
what I'm hearing here. And I'm not
But we'll
hearing any
see if that does that.
solutions. I'm just
so I
hearing
actually
let the process happen, right? It's
Yeah.
like, no, that's not a solution. Anyway,
Scott, I would say a
I'll land there
solution
for
is
now, but I've got more points.
we need to encourage families to have more babies. We need to encourage the family unit to expand, to increase the population so we can have the infrastructure. When I was growing up, dude, there was new schools going up everywhere. Why? It was called the baby boom.
Mhm.
And you know that. Like there was a
Oh
massive
yeah.
boom. 75 million kids were born in a short period of time because families were having babies, communities were being built. The community structure in America is being destroyed and has been for the last 25 years. And
He
with
is
that
right. If
and with that comes the decline of the community. And it happens, it's going to show up in the hospitals, it's going to show up in education, it's going to show up in the roads, it's going to show up in the police force because the funding's going to stop because people left that area. And this is just the marketplace. I mean, if everybody moved out of America, there wouldn't be any hospitals in America.
I mean,
hey hold on,
look at
one
LA
sec,
though.
Jeremy.
LA
Let me
is
show you
like
guys something real quick.
wasteland now.
Ho-
LA used to
Let me
be
show
the
you
most.
because hold on one second, Jeremy, because we're talking about this rural hospital thing, and I know we've been sitting on it, but I just have to throw this out because, and I know we're talking about how it's going to increase or heavily speed up the decline in rural areas, but literally, I've been fact checking, and then on the actual website, Saving Rural Hospitals, Medicaid plays for the smallest reason as to why rural hospitals are actually falling apart. And I'll just read this quickly for you. Quickly. Low payments from private.
Where's the research from, bud?
Yeah,
This
Marty. We
is
don't even know where this research is from. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
like
bro. I'm no.
Marty's
I
going to
just
bring
that's
it.
why I just
Marty's
said
a legit.
this. What I'm just reading. What I'm reading from you right now
Yeah. Thanks,
is
Marty.
strictly from SavingRuralHospitals.org. They don't want to believe it. That's cool. They got a whole website,
Go
a whole
Marty,
breakdown,
we have
cost
much time.
analysis, the
We don't
whole.
have much
Okay,
time. Let's
cool.
go.
So at the majority of small rural hospitals, low payments from private health plans and patient. Somebody's on mic, and please
Jeremy,
mute your
mute up.
mics. Jeremy, mute your mic. Low payments from
my
private
mic
health
is
plans
muted.
and
Fuck
patient
off.
bad debt are the primary causes of losses at small rural hospitals. At the majority of small losses in patients and private health insurance plans and self-pay were greater than the losses from Medicare, Medicaid, right? The majority of rural hospitals lose money on Medicaid patients, but the thing is, the Medicaid patients make up for a much smaller portion of their patients compared to private health insurance and others. So what it is Medicaid right now, even with the government, because most small rural hospitals are classified as critical access hospitals and receive cost-based payments from Medicare. But Medicare patients in those rural hospitals make up for the smallest population of the patients at these hospitals. So once again, what I'm saying is, yes, it will add, but it's not going to accelerate the decline in rural hospitals
Yeah,
with this cut
Marty,
in Medicaid right now.
Thank you,
What?
Marty.
Are
Thank you
you
for
kidding
reading
me?
one
that.
second,
Thank you,
Marty.
Marty.
No, Marty.
Thank you,
It's no
Marty.
thank you, Marty, because this bill, guys, we've been focused on Medicaid, but it cuts Medicare as well. Okay, it cuts both Medicare and Medicaid. So let's not. Okay, so don't be thank you, Marty.
No, thank you,
Okay,
No,
Marty.
it's not that. It's not
it
that it's
cuts
not cutting it,
it cut
JB. It's
it cuts SNAP payments. We're talking about Medicaid, okay, but SNAP and all this other Medicare as well is part of the cuts. And no,
no
yeah, these hospitals will close down because they do rely and they do get a large percentage. And what he said that you guys overlooked was they're designated as critical care. Okay, hospitals, right, Marty? What is
critical.
what's
Most rural hospitals are classified as critical access hospitals and
critical
receive
access?
cost-based
Critical
payments
access is what we're talking about. Okay,
and
Jonathan,
receive
access.
come
Which
on. Yeah,
Medicaid does
Critical
not pay.
access.
Jonathan, come
And
on, bro.
Medicaid is a small of the money that comes in. Let's read the whole story, okay? Just don't take
Okay,
what you
but
want
Cindy,
It's
from
that's
always
it.
like
based
an
on what Marty.
objective.
That's based on what
Crazy.
Marty read. But when we specifically are talking about the hospitals in Alabama, which was the subject matter, then that's not the
Who
case. They specifically
cares?
state that if their Medicaid is
Yeah,
Who
cut,
one second.
cares?
One time out,
some
time
of
out.
them will
hold
close
on, Jeremy.
Rochelle,
Jeremy, hold
immediately.
on, bro. Hold on, Jeremy.
Rochelle. Whoever said who cares, guys, get him out of here. All right, whoever said that,
Jeremy.
I don't care. Get him out of here for the night, man, because that's not what we're doing here. That's not what we're doing here.
Go ahead, Rochelle.
Oh, I didn't even hear that. But yeah, but specifically they say that if the Medicaid is cut, then those some of the majority of them will close immediately, and then some over time. So that indicates that they're more Medicaid heavy on their funding than private funding or
Well,
private
give us
insurance.
one. Give us
So,
one. Name two. He just read from .org. So
Skull, do
why
you have
don't
that
you
list
read?
up in front of you, Skull? Does it show the list of the hospitals?
Yeah, sorry. What you talking about the Alabama lists? I
Yeah.
posted them a while ago, and I'm on my phone now. But I mean, just if you just Google really quick, I mean, you'll see that they've been doing these articles for years in Alabama. And to Marty's point, some of those things that he read there, you're saying Medicaid or Medicare is a very small percentage, but then you said people not being able to pay out of pocket. Well, why aren't they able? Why do they have to pay out of pocket? Because they weren't
No,
covered
no,
by
no. These
Medicare or Medicaid, right?
no. It
So
said
then
that the
no one was on
majority
the
was
hook.
private health.
So you can lump that in there. And
No, because he
if you
never
didn't
No,
said
know
you
that.
this,
you
you
missed
can
it. You
have
missed what I.
concurrent. You can have
You heard it
concurrent
wrong,
private
hon.
health
He
Mark,
and
actually
maybe you
said
need to
Medicare
read
Medicare.
it
Medicaid.
again.
Marty, no, we're not going to read it again. He actually said Medicare covers a big part of it as well. Didn't you?
No, what I
No,
said was, and I'll make it real specific. What
Just
they're
read it
saying
again,
is
bro.
Medicaid. Yeah, let me pull it right. Causes of financial problems. Right here. Right here. Right here. Okay. Right here. Medicare. Damn it. Most Medicare payments do not cause significant losses. That's small. The most small group classified as. No, it's before that.
Yeah, Marty, you might have to read it to these guys. These
Losses.
guys, they need
So,
Medicaid
Marty, there's a
and
difference
hearing
between
aids.
Medicare and Medicaid. So be specific when you're talking
Yes.
about
yeah.
Yes.
Medicaid.
Yes. For
Yeah,
sure. No, I know.
yeah, thank
Can
you.
I
There
just
is
ask a question?
Marty.
Everybody's
While you're
talking in here
pulling
about
that
the
up,
room. What happens?
Rochelle, don't be yelling at that black king right
Grant,
there.
shut up.
Black King, that's funny.
so Marty, while you're
Go
pulling
ahead.
that
There
up,
was a
I just
lady
want to
jumping in. Let me get
highlight
nurse. Go
that
ahead, nurse.
40% of all hospital care in Alabama is covered by Medicare. So, and so if that's 40% of a hospital's revenue and they're underpaying on that 40%, that is contributing to why the hospital's on the ropes in the first place. If they were
If
reimbursing at a higher rate, the hospitals would not be on the ropes as much as they are in the first place.
So, to what you just said, I'm not going to dispute that at all, right? Because you're speaking about Alabama. What I'm reading is the overall, the majority of all hospitals, rural hospitals in the U.S. So,
Gotcha.
what you're saying, absolutely, right? Because that's specifically to Alabama. But this is giving me the general consensus for all. And what it is Low payment from private health plans and patient bad debt are the primary causes of losses at small rural hospitals. At the majority of small rural hospitals, losses on patients with private health insurance plans and self-pay patients were greater than losses on Medicare, Medicaid, and uninsured charity care patients combined, although the magnitude of the losses varies significantly across states, to what we're just saying. And I'll go, the majority of rural hospitals lose money on Medicaid patients. The losses of individual Medicaid patients are generally larger than the losses of patients with private insurance. However, the much smaller proportion of Medicaid patients means that the overall impact on the hospital due to private insurance losses is still larger in states that expanded Medicaid hospital experience, blah, blah, blah. So that's all it was saying. So yes,
Okay.
so it
So
wasn't
they
so
rely
Scott.
on it a lot. Jeremy, jump in.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Jeremy. All right. So
Oh, you
anyway,
dropped.
I'm
Go ahead.
good. I'm good. They do. I'm good. Every time I get open my mouth, they
You
drop
read
me.
the
okay.
facts. He good.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. So good. All right. So let's move on. So yeah.
Man, I
So
can't believe you didn't bring some thunder right there, Jeremy, when you had a chance.
so
Bro, it's just like it's
He,
like
so
he,
it's
he
you're
Thunder,
like
gave
you
him
know
he
it's
what?
gave him
like
a gateway.
it's like you're like
No,
knife fighting with unarmed fools. So it's like when are you
okay.
gonna
No,
stop?
no, no. Bob,
So,
we're gonna go to we're gonna go to Emmett. Emmett, go
None
ahead.
of these
Emmett.
guys are educated. They're life
Emmett.
coaches.
Emmett. Let's go.
Like
wow,
fucking what are you?
did y'all mute him?
No, no one muting him. No, we're not.
They
Somebody's
keep
muting
muting
him.
me every time I talk.
Somebody's muting him, Jonathan.
I didn't read anyone, Grant. But
Every
if he's
time I
muted, he wasn't
talk,
talking about
someone
the
mutes me.
subject. He wasn't talking about the subject. Then that's why they muted him. If you want to respond to what just was said, Jeremy, be our guest. Go ahead.
Well, don't edit his conversation.
I'm not editing this conversation, but we're not talking
Well, it's
about
not
people in the
you. It
room.
must be Rochelle or one of
No,
your
we're not.
other.
We're not talking about people in the room. That's all I'm saying. If we're going to talk about the room, we're going to talk about the room. We're going to talk about the subject. That's what we're going to do.
And it is not Rochelle Grant.
But go ahead,
Go ahead,
Emmett.
Jeremy. Get it off your chest. Sorry, Emmett.
All right, Bobby, let's go.
All right. So one aspect we haven't been talking about that I think is interesting is how much of a hospital's costs are due to chronic issues and long-term issues and not things like urgent care, talking about accidents before, talking about births. A big percentage of it, larger than all of those combined, are diseases and issues that people have because they're not eating right, not taking care of themselves, and a host of other issues that
Yeah.
RFK Jr. is specifically trying to get to. I find it interesting because I wonder how big these hospital systems and these buildings need to be in the first place if we were able to get to the bottom of why people are so freaking sick when
Thank you.
human beings are not meant to be this chronically sick and ill this often for their entire lives. I mean, we've got babies now from birth all the way till the end of their life that are miserably sick with diseases and things that we weren't even facing at times when we didn't have this modern medical apparatus around. So I think everyone here should, at the very minimum, even if you hate RFK Jr., you hate Trump, you hate what they're doing, anything they do, you're going to be against. Shouldn't you at least be for an administration that, for the first time in a long time, said, hold on a second, let's at least try, make an attempt. Can we come together and make an attempt to understand why people are so sick in the first place? Because if we did that, you would slash potentially 30 to 50% of the costs that a hospital faces to begin with. We wouldn't even have to worry about keeping a system afloat that probably shouldn't be this big anyway. In the end, there shouldn't be as
Agree,
many
Bobby.
doctors, nurses, there shouldn't be as many hospitals, they shouldn't be as large if people were healthier. Now, I understand it's a more difficult issue for us to debate because there's a lot that goes into it and there's a lot of mystery. But at a minimum, I would think that at least means we all support the effort to try to get to the bottom of the chronic illness epidemic in America.
Yeah, that's a great input, Bobby. I love that. And not it hadn't been talked about tonight because nobody wants to confront getting down to the issues. They just want to keep confronting the symptoms. Excuse me, I'll just say one more thing. And these hospitals, look, I've been around long enough. Cindy's been around long enough. People were healthier 30 years ago than they are today. They're just living longer.
But
People
it's
are
no
not
secret,
No,
Grant. The food and the
wait,
water
no,
are messed up. The
no,
food and the
are
water are
messed up.
messed up, and
no.
100%.
there's too much money to be made off of stopping that.
And
That's
any
why.
any of you that's old enough,
Guys, one second, guys.
sugar today. Excuse me, Jonathan.
No, because
Sugar,
it's a bunny trail. It's a bunny trail. We're not talking about this
sugar today.
administration.
The
We're not
refined
speaking about this
sugars that
administration cutting We're not talking about the administration cutting Medicare and Medicaid. Okay, you guys are now going back speaking about other stuff. So
Well,
but that's just that's
Well,
what's
how about
happening
all
here.
these people that now that got vaccinated have all these weird things happening to them that are running to hospitals every day? And-
You
No,
guys
no,
too
no.
much.
Let's
You guys
talk
too much
about
talk
it.
about. Wait. One
okay.
mic. One mic. Hold up. We're speaking about this administration cutting the funding for Medicare and Medicaid, and they're speaking about
Yeah.
vaccines and they're speaking about health. Okay. Oh, this right. They're not. They don't want to address that. Okay. They're saying pretty much blaming the people that's getting sick.
No,
That's what's happening right now.
But
America's a sick country.
so,
Okay. Well,
so if I may, Jonathan, jump in here for a moment. Is that
Good.
all right?
Yes.
So Bobby, I appreciate that you are the first person on the right to bring a solution and die. Right? So you've brought a solution other than that. Like
Oh,
we're
it's an
just gonna cut
option.
your medical
By
stuff
the way,
and you're just
Scald,
gonna
for
have to figure it
clarity's
out.
sake, I don't mean to cut you off,
But
but not the first
but
person on
one
the right.
wait,
I'm an
Bob,
independent.
Bob, let me finish here. I've seen RFK's plans, and I've seen what he's written in his public statements. I also saw the executive order on the Presidential Health Council. I also saw where the president outlined the risks that the American people are facing, and some of those risks are asymmetric. Cancer is increasing at a rate higher in America than almost any other country, actually any other country in the developed world. That should be scary, right? So I do agree with where you're coming from. You have at least the concept of a plan. Here's what I'm not hearing. What's the budget for this? Why is national cancer research currently frozen? What's the plan to actually make people healthier? How much money are we going to spend on that? How much money do we expect to save on acute treatments, which would reduce the Medicaid budget? Uh, where's the
Scald,
plan? I mean,
how
I
much
want to
money?
see more of it. You've got a concept of a plan, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But let's go a little bit deeper.
Scald, how
Hey,
much money's been
hey,
raised for
Scald, I
cancer
love that you
research?
said that. So let's go a little bit deeper. We spent the entire time talking about things that we can't find a solution to that are actually caused by the problem that me and you just agreed should be a focus. But instead of trying to come together and figure out what that actually looks like, we could spend 5 hours here and debate the news talking about exactly that. We've got health experts and people from across the spectrum of holistic health on this stage and on this platform. We could do that, but we spent the entire time talking about the problem that occurs because we're not doing that. So at least we have an administration here. I'm not talking up the Trump administration. What I'm saying is this is the first administration in a very long time. You guys fact check me on when it happened last, where an administration said instead of talking up Medicare, Medicaid, hospital system, cost of things, how about we try first, at least make an attempt to get to the root cause. Now you could say you don't trust RFK Jr. I saw that in the chat. That's fine. But do you trust yourself? Get involved in the process. Support these conversations. Nobody wants to talk about this because it's difficult, it's challenging, and the truth is if people were healthier, this entire conversation would be very very different because you wouldn't need to support the system that is supporting sick care. We do not have a healthcare system. I don't care what anybody says. It's one word, healthcare. That's a marketing term, not two words, healthcare, the care of people's health. It's a sick care system. So let's
Bobby.
focus, Scald,
Unfortunately,
one day,
Bobby,
3 hour room on
one mic.
health.
Yeah, Bobby. We're not right now. We're not talking about the healthcare system. What we're speaking about, okay, is access. Okay, that's going to be
Right.
denied. Okay, that's
Access
what we're.
because you're not healthy.
Bobby, one second. Okay, we're speaking about access that's going to be denied as a result of some cuts. Okay, something that can be avoided. So you guys are what you guys are going is talking about everything else, and you want the audience to think about that. I'm sorry, I'm boring you, Daphne. I tell you what. Since I'm boring you, boom, there you go. All right. So, what I want to do is, if we're talking about that, okay, let's not move the goalposts. Let's not move the
Yeah.
goalposts.
Well, and what I want to get at, John, is we've tried programs like this in the past, and they've met with some success. There was a program several years ago. I'd have to look it up, but they tried intervention and preventative treatment. So they basically took some of the Medicaid budget and they said, I think it was in Philadelphia. It was either Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Chicago is the cities I think they tried this in. and they assigned caseworkers to people who had illnesses, and they would actually go to the homes and try to work with them before they ended up in the hospital, before they ended up in the emergency room. And it caused a 60% reduction in total Medicaid billing. And at the end of the day, these programs were canceled. These programs were canceled, right? We didn't roll that out. That could be
Wow.
a solution. If you guys were saying, hey, we're going to bring the healthcare to you, I'd be like, I'm all ears. If you guys were saying, hey, we're going to forgive doctors student loans, but they have to work 3 years at a rural clinic or 5 years at a rural clinic. And so we're paying them by forgiving some of their student loans, which makes educated Americans and makes future doctors. I'd be all ears to that, right? But what we're saying is hospitals are going to close and you're going to be out of luck. And then I hear what you're saying, but I don't hear like a plan. I hear an idea. Like, wouldn't it be nicer if we were all healthier? Yeah, I agree. That would be nice. That's not the reality we live in. And we have to have a government that addresses the reality that we live in right now. And we have to have a plan to get to a better future. But we have to address the reality of today.
Scald, I feel like you're beating around the bush a little bit, man. I'll be honest. I feel like you're being dishonest
Yeah,
because I
yeah, but
think you and
we're
me
not.
both
Once
know
again,
that we could
Bobby,
have that conversation.
Bobby. Once again, we're not talking about healthcare right now. Okay,
Yeah,
that's not
That's
what we're doing.
exactly what we're
Jonathan, why
talking
can't the
about,
Okay,
conversation
Jonathan.
just go where it goes,
no,
Jonathan?
no, no. Here's the deal, Bobby. All right, we're not.
But it's a
Okay,
good conversation,
because
Jonathan.
because Grant, we got. I want to finish this up because we're speaking about the aid. We're speaking about the aid that was cut. That's what we're speaking about.
Okay,
And you guys,
so what? It takes a little different direction. We
yeah, I know,
spent
I
we
understand that,
spent
Grant.
almost $500 billion in donations for cancer in this country, and it hadn't gotten any better. We've dropped on the list. Why?
Well,
And until you solve these
Why?
problems,
That's a
dude.
simple answer. Because how much is chemotherapy? Hello. You don't think
that
there's a
But
that
cure for cancer out there? You don't think any of these scientists have come up or could come up with a cure for cancer? Many
They've done it
cancers
But
already.
can be
guys,
cured, but
guys,
how
that's
much
just not.
money does the hospitals make off chemo? Come on.
Biden said he
Chase
was
Guys,
the
going to
that
cure
dollar,
cancer.
that's just not
chase
true.
the dollar, and
I
you'll,
gotta call this
if
out.
you
I'm
just
sorry,
chase
but
the dollar, you
if
will
you
always
if you
get an
had a
answer.
child diagnosed with leukemia in the 1970s, their death rate would have been close to, I believe, 92%. And thanks to the work for
Dead.
hospitals like St. Jude and a bunch of cancer research money, the survival rate for childhood leukemia is now almost 90%.
Good.
Don't
So
bring
So,
you
St.
had
Jude into
You're the one
90%
that
of
this.
them
said
dying, and now you have 90% of them living. And cancer is a
great.
very complex topic. It's
All
not
right.
easily solved, and it's
Oh
going to
yeah.
take oodles of money to fix. That's just the answer.
So you're the one that said our cancer scores are getting worse, not better.
Well, the cancer scores are across the entire
No,
population.
no.
Individual treatments for
You
cancers
said the
were
United
developing.
States was dropping in its success with cancer resolutions in America. You said that. I didn't say it.
No, I did say that. As far as
Thank you.
overall cancer rate, it's increasing. But if you're going to say we've made no progress in
I
treating
didn't say that.
cancers,
I said
that's
we
not
spent
true.
almost $500 billion
Yeah,
donations,
yeah. One second. What
and
does
the
that?
people
What does that have
treating
to do with the cuts
cancer,
to? What does that have to do
people,
with the cuts to
excuse me,
Medicaid and
the
Medicare?
people
Medicare?
treating cancer, the people treating cancer are getting richer and richer, and the solutions are not there.
There you go.
And that continues to be rewarded by these systems and programs. And the fact that you guys don't want to address it tonight, instead, we want to spend all night on a rural hospital in some tertiary market that doesn't have enough support to keep the hospital alive.
Actually, Grant, that's one of the things that we're speaking about. Okay, they're cutting this aid. I mean, this Medicaid, Medicare, and all of these things. Matter of fact, what we were speaking about more specifically is the fact that most of this stuff is taken advantage of in these red states, but the Trump voters. Okay, that's where all this funding and aid is going to. All right, so a lot of it, Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, okay, all those Louisiana, all those places that voted red. Okay, and essentially this is going to hurt his constituency. the people that voted for him. That's what we're speaking about. You guys wanted to address other things because here's the thing: these are critical access hospitals. These hospitals,
Yeah.
okay, if these hospitals go away, a lot of people will be hurt because of it.
Yeah.
And you guys are laughing and joking and having fun with
We're
it
not
and saying,
laughing and
"Hey, it
joking.
is what it is,"
You
and
don't
then
Well,
people making
since when do
comments
you
about it.
care about
you
these
don't
people?
really think that
Hey
people
guys,
in
never
red
mind. I'll take
states,
Wyatt. Take Wyatt out. I'll take him down. Go ahead.
you don't
I'm
really
listening,
think
Grant.
red state voters
Suck
are
a dick.
blaming
You,
Donald
you can't
Trump.
even stand 1 second of opposition. It's so pathetic.
You don't really think that red state voters are blaming Donald Trump because of the first 35 days that he's been in office for a hospital closing, do you? You think people woke
Well,
up
they
this
they haven't closed yet, Grant. I mean, they're going to, buddy. I mean, if this goes
I'll,
through,
Yeah,
it's
but
going to happen.
Jonathan acts
say
like it's
it
a major concern that
again. Maybe Mark needs to read it again. You've been losing hospitals for 15 plus years right now. If it's not
You're in
profitable,
the
it's going to
matrix.
go
You're in
out
the
of
matrix.
business.
Cindy, you're in the matrix.
Yeah. Come
Uh,
You're in
back
the
to
matrix. All right, yeah. So yeah, guys, listen to me. The conversation we're having here, guys, is it's a real one. We're talking about the administration and what's going on. All right, listen to me, Cindy. No one's
you mean the
disputing the
greatest
hospitals.
presidential administration in the history of
Yeah,
the world.
we can call it that, Grant.
Thank you.
Okay, but
Thank
we
you.
can call it that. But
Look, even
what I'm
Skull's
more
wearing a red shirt tonight.
yeah. But what I'm saying to you is this right here, Grant, is that even with this going on, all right. What we're speaking about is the fact that they're cutting critical funding for programs that are needed. All right, and needed by the constituency is what we're speaking about.
When did they cut the funding?
Well, the House passed the bill already,
Okay.
and it has to go to the Senate now.
Okay, and that was because of an executive order that Trump passed in the last 35 days.
No, it's not executive order. It's Trump's budget that he put forth. Right, Skull.
Yeah. So this is Trump put forth his big beautiful bill, right?
Big beautiful
And that
bill.
and that did not actually go to the floor. This is a modified version of based off of Trump's suggestion. And this is how it's always gone, right? The president actually doesn't get to make the budget, but they do get to suggest the budget. And so that's where we're at here. So it's not exactly what Trump wanted, but it's close. So that's where we're at right now.
And that was a cut to what? Just give me one cut.
So it's $880 billion to Medicaid. And I want to clarify a few things. There were left-wing media outlets pointing out that the yearly budget is $880 billion, and then they said it was an $880 billion cut. I want to clarify that was never on the table to be cut in 1 year. And so the outlets that said that were fear-mongering and causing
Yeah.
panic. The original bill was cutting that amount over 5 years, which would have been a 20% cut on a per year basis.
Yeah.
What actually passed the House
Is a 10.
was over a 10-year basis, which would
Right.
represent a 10% cut to Medicaid, right? So we take that 880 billion out over the course of 10 years. So each of those 10 years would have
And
10%
how
less
do you
funding.
guys how do you guys propose getting fat out of a system if you don't cut first?
No, you cut
Yeah,
strategically.
so
I mean,
I
did
mean,
any of you guys ever run a big business where you need to
That's the
actually
problem, Grant. That's the
yeah,
problem
here
right
here
there.
let me give you
That
an
is
idea,
the
and I
Grant.
guess
problem right
I
there.
guess you guys are going to say hospitals aren't a business now because you'd say that a government's not a business too.
Here, do you want an idea from me, just off the cuff?
No, I just want an answer. Have you ever run a
Cut,
big
cut,
business?
cutting the fat and
Yeah,
cutting the
I
department is two different things.
I have ran a business,
Like how
and
big a
here's
business?
my idea for how we could save money. Medicare Part D, which was signed by George W. Bush, a conservative, without consulting anybody on how to pay for it, is now 147 billion of that 880 billion. This is entirely covering prescription drugs. There is a list of 210 drugs in the United Nations that are called critical drugs. Only 17 of them are still patented, which means the rest of them could be made generically. Here's what I would do. I would take that entire list of the generics, which cover 98% of medical disorders. I would bid it out to every single big pharma company. I'd get Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly, Pfizer. I'd get all of them to bid on it. Whoever could make it the cheapest would get the government contract, and that's what Medicaid would pay, period. And if one of those drugs doesn't work for you, which covers 98% of illnesses according to the United Nations, then I guess you're going to have to get private insurance, and we're going to save off of that 147 billion that we're currently spending right now. So that's one way I could think that we could cut without actually saying to people, you're not going to get your medicine.
What the
But that's
hospitals would,
against the
what the
law.
hos-
If you patent a medication, you
yeah.
have the rights on that medication for a certain amount of time before that can be a genetic. Now you're trying to control companies.
And
You're
market
not
No,
it.
no,
making
no.
sense here.
Only 17 of the 210 drugs are still patented. The rest
Okay.
of them have moved into generics. So
Okay.
you let
And the
those
other
17
17 will move
go,
too.
you bid out the other 190, and then you say that's the new price. Done.
They're not. Hey, Scald,
But
let me just say this real
med,
quick.
Hey,
That
hey guys,
I
wait. I
think
want to go
that
to
might work.
Rosalind. 1 second. I want to go to Rosalind. She hasn't gone yet. Rosalind, go ahead. You've been waiting for a long time.
Okay.
Yes, we
Yes,
can. Go
ma'am.
ahead.
Oh, well, I was just wondering with the cuts, if you have a child or someone who's in the middle of treatment, how will they handle someone who's on Medicaid or anybody, a parent, anyone who's in the middle of treatment? How will that be handled?
these guys don't know. They're just trying to make Trump to be a bad guy. None of the
Actually, Grant,
So
you're right. We don't know. That's why we didn't answer. Now, if you ask someone on the right that, they would answer. Okay, they would answer. We don't know. So you're right. That's why we didn't answer. Unlike you, we can't just go ahead and make shit up.
did,
If
did
we
did
don't know,
I
we can stay
answer? Did I
quiet.
answer? No, I said
Nobody
you guys
nobody
don't.
answered.
No, nobody answered. What are you
You
talking?
basically said
According
you got
so
the answer.
here's
If I was
here's
over there right
Ohio's
now,
Ohio's
I'd
answer to
fucking pop you
administration,
in the face.
according to
here's
the Trump
Ohio's answer to
administration,
this with Mike
according to the
DeWine. Ohio has said that they're going to try to mitigate some of those shortfalls because Ohio has its own Medicaid and Medicare program as well. So that they're going to try to mitigate some of that, but they don't know how much of that they can actually do. But states are going to try to pick up the slack. I don't know what state you live in. I don't know what your governor's opinion is on it or your state legislature's opinion is on it. But some states are going to try to pick up the slack from the government to make sure their citizens don't lose health care.
and Scald, real
I
quick, going
guess
back to what
I
you were
guess the
saying.
big thing
Uh,
is,
gosh,
or I guess my comment is that it seems so haphazard that there isn't like a thought or a stopgap or like a plan for how to help the citizens who are already in treatment. I guess that's my concern. And it doesn't seem like there is a thought about that because there seems like there should be a plan
No,
for people that are
Jonathan and Saul
already in
don't
the
care
middle.
about those people.
according to the Trump administration, their target for reducing the budget for Medicaid and Medicare is to cut out the inefficiencies. If you
Exactly.
believe Trump, Trump said anybody that earned Medicaid or Medicare would not lose, I guess Medicare specifically, would not lose your benefits. Only if you're getting the benefits and you didn't earn them, that's the only way you'd lose them. That's if you believe Trump.
Exactly.
That's exactly what Trump said. And, I think you actually be creating a crisis because I'm paying Medicare taxes right now. Every person that's working is paying Medicare taxes. It would be crazy that I'll pay my whole life and then get to 65 and then you tell me, oh, you can't get your Medicare. In that case, I'll sue the federal government because that is literally illegal to do. So if they do that type of stuff, try to take Medicare away from people who earned it, then they're going to be sued, right? This is the way it works.
Well, I
It,
want to tell
it,
you
it,
one thing, buddy. If you want to sue the government, the first step is a judge has to give you permission to actually bring the lawsuit. So the government has to let you sue the government, buddy. So let me just correct you right
Yep.
there. They
Yeah. Well,
actually
I guess
do
I'll be
make the
suing the
laws. They
executive
actually
in
do
that
make the
case.
laws.
Right. I'll be suing the executive, and of course, it will depend on what kind of judges that has been elected that will grant that lawsuit. Right. I guess to Right.
And
break it
they will
down to
grant
make it
them. I
clear.
have cancer patients that absolutely sue Medicare and then get their drug covered and come back to get cancer treatment if they don't die while the court case is happening. So people do it.
And look, these companies. This is what I was going to add to what Scald said because I didn't catch all of it, but I agree. I kind of agree with a lot of what you said. I'm not 100% sure on this, but as far as like the part where you said some of these big companies bid out these prices, here, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to do that because, like, the feds have been trying to get more transparency on PBMs, which tie into big insurance, big pharma, all that. They can't do it. Like, I think here recently I heard something about making a little headway on that. Mississippi's passing a bill about transparency. What we're arguing is like that's not going to put any money in our pockets right now. Like that's not going to keep the doors and the lights open right now. What we need is stuff, not only transparency. I get it. That's a good first step, but we need stuff that will fix the problem or at least ease some of the pain. And I don't like, there's so much money. I mean, this sounds like billions and billions, literally hidden here. They don't want y'all to see, or not y'all. They don't want people. They spent one one of the state representatives today said that one insurance company here in Mississippi spent 28 million lobbying for a bill that did not even pass. The bill got killed. That's how much money they have. They spent that's in Mississippi. They spent 28 million lobbying to get a bill passed that did not get passed. That is pocket change, y'all.
Yeah.
You know, if they Mississippi sued the state auditor, sued this in one insurance company for 50 million, they settled or something. There's no tell. We didn't see any of that money. There's no telling how much they actually like fraudulent funds out of it, but the number around 50 million was what was thrown around. But like there's so much money, so I don't know. Scott, I'd love to talk more to you about it sometime because it's pretty interesting, but I don't really think they're going to show their hand and like bid out numbers because they're just that right there would be so much money out of their pocket just by locking in a number.
Hey, Taylor, real quick. Tell us something about yourself, man. Who are you? Where are you from, bro?
Yeah, so I'm from Mississippi. Me and my wife. My background's real estate construction. My wife is a pharmacist, and she's worked for all the big corporate companies. And about 7 years ago, we moved back to our hometown, bought a independent pharmacy, and then had no clue this was going on. If we did, I would have been at the state capitol 7 years ago, like being the squeaky wheel. um, and it's kind of it's scary times, you know. And this isn't leaning left or right. This is just about corruption and trying to um, let people know. Because
Hey,
I mean, like,
Taylor, had you known that, you probably wouldn't have moved there and you probably wouldn't have started that business.
Hey,
yeah,
hey,
I mean, like, you know, yeah. If I knew there's this much stuff going on, I would have definitely hesitated. Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, yeah, Taylor, guys, and when we end every night, when we land every night, I'm going to go to one particular speaker because I want you guys to know we're speaking to real people here. And like we did last night with Headline, we did it tonight with Taylor. Guys, listen to me, guys. I'm glad to have you here. Grant, can you do a quick outro if you don't mind, my friend?
No, bro, I'm not doing
Good.
it tonight. You didn't
So
respect me enough
what,
tonight.
what I'm doing is, guys, here we go. Welcome, first of all. Thank you guys for listening. Hey, if you're listening to us on Spotify, iTunes, Apple, wherever it may be, guys, come join us. We do this. We start these rooms approximately 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys, come on over here and join us. You can download it, the app at the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, and it is Chatter Social. So, guys, once again, appreciate you guys being here. Oh man, hey, if you're here, hit the link up top. Make sure you guys follow the podcast, download some podcasts, leave a nice review. And guys, coming out and joining us once again. Guys, we're going to keep this conversation going after we land this, but I want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys. Hey, guys, out there in podcast land, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow.